Welcome to Fantasy Audiobook. Global Killing. Skills automatically upgrade SSs in seconds. Chapter 81. The four scythes are swung at the same time, which looks like an oversized lawn mower. The harder the zombies rush forward, the closer they are to their own death. The RV passed along the road, leaving only a pile of unidentifiable corpses piled up indiscriminately, soaked in thick plasma. The sewer entrances have long been blocked, and they were not designed to drain such things. There was a strong smell of blood in the air, and with every breath, the nasal cavity would be violently opened and forced into it. This smell is definitely not something that ordinary people can bear. If you smell it a little, you will probably vomit continuously, and you will collapse yourself alive. Even Chen Mu had to admit that the blood of zombies and monsters was more fishy than anything he had ever smelled in peacetime. With its own fermentation, and the smell of decay. Fortunately, Chen Mu's ability to withstand is good, coupled with the built-in air purification and filtration system inside the RV, it will not be affected in any way. At this time, the huge car window in front of him was already covered with a thick layer of blood plasma, and fragments such as eyeballs and internal organs could occasionally be seen. Visibility was poor despite the constant sweeping of the wipers. Boom, rumble. From time to time, it will hit the building, but for the RV, it is not enough to cause the slightest damage. The caravan itself is of good quality, not to mention it has been strengthened with SSS-level skills. Even if the sickle rat strikes with all its strength, it will still be able to block at least 2 strikes. If it is 3 strikes, it is probably more difficult. The second attack can almost penetrate completely. Chen Mu didn't want to feel the strong push back from the seat when the car crashed. Simply open the side window, poke your head out, and compress the air as a wall to block all the splashing blood. Just like that, in the tide of corpses and monsters, speeding back and forth, slaughtering wantonly like mowing grass. This made those survivors hiding in nearby buildings feel hesitant to speak, speechless. Originally thought that with so many zombies and monsters suddenly appearing here, Chen Mu would definitely die. After daytime, go ahead to search for resources. If you are lucky, you should be able to last for a long time. After all, at the moment, they haven't seen many people who can drive this kind of luxury car. But the facts proved that they were completely overthinking. That guy is a lunatic. They agree so. For a moment, it was a bit unclear whether the zombie monster was too weak or Chen Mu was too strong. In short, no one intends to get involved in this matter, knowing that they are not worthy. Although the sickle blade was running, coupled with the cutting, and the roar of zombie monsters, the sound was very noisy, but no one dared to complain. I am afraid that if I am not careful, I will become the target of fire. I was really upset, and muttered a few words in a low voice. Basically negligible. Successfully killed the zombie. Congratulations to the host for getting 2 kill points. Successfully killed the zombie. Congratulations to the host for getting 2 kill points. Successfully killed the giant zombie. Congratulations to the host for getting 10 kill points. Successfully killed the man-eating wolf. Congratulations to the host for getting 5 kill points. There were so many zombie monsters, even though Chen Mu harvested them in such a swift and violent way, it still took more than 10 minutes to finish them all. At this time, the square has no place to set foot. And the caravan was also abruptly changed to a different color, which was so bloody red that it was frightening. Chen Mu pressed the button and stopped swinging the death scythe. Looking at the mess, I was a little uncertain. If it becomes like this, can it still be processed? Never mind, let's try it. Old rules, extract first. Call again. The last thing is to process the canned food. Extracting. Extraction successful. Congratulations to the host for gaining strength attribute +1. Extraction successful. Congratulations to the host for gaining speed attribute +5 and defense attribute +3. Extraction successful. Congratulations to the host for gaining agility +5. Because the number was enough, Chen Mu got more than 4,000 points due to the power attribute alone. Speed, defense, dodge, and so on, there is nothing lower than 4 digits. 10 points of strengthening all attributes can make a person completely surpass the old human beings and become a superhuman existence among the old human beings. Regardless of strength, speed, reaction. No one can beat it. However, Chen Mu has tens of thousands of attributes in his hands, not just one. He finally calmed down. We can sleep well. Relieved, the onlookers moved their hands away from their tightly covered ears. Wait, look, then, what are those? Soul calling. Successful summoning. Congratulations to the host for getting the zombie undead. Successful summoning. Congratulations to the host for getting the undead giant. Successful summoning. Congratulations to the host for obtaining the undead wolf. ... Dozens of people were dumbfounded, watching the zombie monsters that should have died, one after another, straighten their waists from the sea of blood, responding to Chen Mu's call. Kill as many as you want, summon as many as you want, and don't miss any of them. All zombies and monsters face Chen Mu together, and worship him with him as the center. Why would they do that? It turns out that the zombie monster is resurrected for the second time and continues to attack. They seem to be bowing down to him. How is it possible? How could that kind of monster surrender to humans? It can't communicate at all, okay. It's all killing machines. There is no emotion. Is it possible that this is his skill? If it's a skill, it's a bit too perverted. Could it be SSS level? There was a lot of discussion. The shock that this scene brought to them cannot be explained clearly in a few words. The tens of thousands of terrifying killing machines that they recognized chose to submit to humans. This kind of thing, in their view, should be impossible. But Chen Mu did it, and let all of them see it with their own eyes. The gate to the shadow world unfolds like a universe black hole, covering the entire square. All the undead army sank into it, and everything returned to normal. The atmosphere quieted down, so deadly that it seemed to be in a cemetery. If you really want to compare it, it can be said to be more terrifying than the atmosphere in the cemetery. Then comes the finishing touches. Cooking. Is it really possible? Chen Mu showed surprise. I don't hold out much hope, just give it a try. Successful cooking. Congratulations to the host for getting canned meat plus 10000. Successful cooking. Congratulations to the host for getting canned offal plus 8988. Successful cooking. Congratulations to the host for getting the brittle bone can plus 3425. People had just recovered from the shock of the undead army, and saw the pool of blood flowing backwards, rising up one by one, continuously evolving into cans, floating in the air. At this time, someone suddenly tried to say, wait, those canned food, he can't be the person named Chen Mu, right? Chen Mu, who is that? The woman asked. What, you don't even know about Chen Mu? That's a great figure who has been on the top of the rankings ever since the beginning. When it comes to the heaven list, the first place in the earth list, combined with the name Chen Mu, the woman immediately recalls it. Ask the man next to him, what should we do? Should we go to him? If you want to die, you can go, don't take me with you. The man refused with written all over his face. Being able to hug that kind of person's thigh naturally means that you can live comfortably. But once the thigh hug fails, it will only be a dead end. He doesn't want to gamble. The woman didn't say anything when she heard the words, she just looked at Chen Mu longingly, and said in a voice like a mosquito, why am I not his woman? The man's face turned livid after hearing this. But he didn't say anything, so as not to make trouble for himself. In case of arguing, get Chen Mu's attention. And on Chen Mu's side. After getting nearly 20,000 cans, he prepared to drive away from this place. He could bear the strong smell of blood, but there was no need to sleep in such a harsh environment. Start the RV and gradually drive away from everyone's field of vision. It's just that I didn't walk a few hundred meters, and a system prompt popped up in front of my eyes. Player, Shu Yu, has initiated an arena challenge application for you, do you accept it? Chen Mu once thought that he had misread it. There are still people who will take the initiative to challenge themselves. Is it wrong? He asked uncertainly. However, there is no reason not to seize the opportunity that comes your way. Confirming the surrounding environment, host status. Confirmation is correct. The arena is about to be teleported. Turn off the engine, stop the car, and tell Miria that she will be back soon. Successful transmission. In the blink of an eye, Chen Mu appeared in the arena. Still refused to watch the battle. At this time, both he and the person named Shu Yu standing more than 10 meters away were in a state of restricted activities. Above the head, there is a countdown of 60 seconds. Looking up and down, Chen Mu frowned slightly. Is this guy really human? There are many mechanical designs on the body. The most part is concentrated at the waist, which looks like a mechanical version of the skirt armor. The black shell has a metallic texture, and the connecting part has a scrolling red and black cordon pattern. Under the skirt armor, there are sports shorts that don't match so well, revealing red calves, and thick-soled mechanical boots on the feet. That's right, the main reason why Chen Mu doubted whether she was a person was not because of her outfit. It was her red skin. At least in Chen Mu's impression, there has never been a human with this skin color. The upper body is slightly cool, wearing a corset vest, the flat belly and waist without fat are just exposed to the air. On the arms, wearing outer armor equipment, which looks very light, with fingerless gloves attached, just reaching the elbows. There is nothing covering the shoulders and arms. Look up. He couldn't see his face clearly, because he was wearing a pitch-black ghost mask, and there were 2 red devil horns on the top of his head. Her hair is snow white, with 2 bunches hanging down from her ears, reaching chest length. Behind the head, there is a bigger bunch. Chen Mu doesn't know if this is considered a ponytail, but it is almost as long as her body, as wide as her body. At least it's a lot thicker than that waist, and the further down it gets, the thicker it gets. Or, her waist. Too thin. It always feels like holding hands. During the observation, the number above the head was already counting down to 10. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Numbers change quickly. A moment of freedom of movement. Chen Mu clearly noticed that the black ghost mask on Shu Yu's face, where the eyes were, glowed bright red. Killing intent, Ling ran, immediately, striding forward. While running, he reached out and grabbed a raised black armor part on his right waist. Pull it out, press the button, the handle of the knife is extended, the guard of the knife is unfolded, and the blood-red laser blade shoots out with a buzz. It is 2 meters long. Quickly stepping behind Chen Mu, his blood-red fingers clenched the handle of the knife, and he slashed it off. Hey, don't you even say hello. Chen Mu teleported behind Shu Yu. Shu Yu swung his saber in the air. Instead of being stunned like a normal person, he reacted quickly, ready to continue turning around and swinging his knife to attack. Chen Mu saw through her intentions, raised her foot and kicked it out. Boom, boom. Shu Yu's body had only turned halfway, and the blade had only been swung halfway. She was already kicked out by Chen Mu, like a human cannonball, and slammed into the wall dozens of meters away. The wall is an electronic barrier, and even if it breaks, it can be repaired quickly. Chen Mu is fully capable of killing Shu Yu with one move. The reason why she was given a chance to breathe was because she felt that everything was too abnormal and wanted to figure it out and clear up her doubts. Ask, why are you challenging me? He didn't remember that there was a name like Shu Yu on the heaven and earth double list. Logically speaking, with her strength, she shouldn't be unable to make it to the heaven list, but the ground list is right, she is fully qualified. However, Shu Yu's knife was not aimed at zombies or monsters, but aimed at herself. Can't understand. Could it be that he has a grudge against her? Not to mention whether Chen Mu has relevant memories, she has become like this, how could Chen Mu recognize it? The smoke and dust covering Shu Yu dissipated, Shu Yu stood up slowly, holding the knife with both hands again, the mouth of the ghost face was partially opened, with a mechanical sound. Then spit out a puff of gray smoke from it. Chen Mu smiled. How could the breath of a normal person be this color? Answer me, who are you? Why are you challenging me? Chen Mu spoke forcefully. But Shu Yu didn't intend to answer at all. Another few low-quality versions teleported, charging towards Chen Mu with knives. Up close, flatten the edge with both hands, and lift the laser knife like a solid object over the top of the head, and chop it down heavily. The blade was close at hand, however, Shu Yu lost the chance to kill Chen Mu forever. Her body was frozen in place, and her whole body was completely frozen in the thick ice. Including behind her, 1/5 of the arena, and a large audience seat. The farther, the wider. For those who are unwilling to cooperate, Chen Mu's way of dealing with it is very simple, directly kill them. He raised his hand, pressed the middle finger with his thumb, and his head fell on the ice. Click, the ice cracked instantly, followed to fall apart. It wasn't just the ice that split open, but also Shu Yu, whose blood was turned into ice slag. Successful kill. Congratulations to the host for obtaining the E-level skill Demon Transformation, which will automatically upgrade to the SSS level skill Demon Transformation. Successful kill. Congratulations on being the final winner. No drop. Or, she came to challenge me with the determination to die. What is she trying to do? The more I think about it, the weirder it becomes. Before the time for forced exit from the arena came, Chen Mu hurriedly completed the extraction. Call. Extracting. Extraction successful. Congratulations to the host for gaining strength attribute +10 and speed attribute +5. Calling. Successful summoning. Congratulations to the host for getting the red ghost. Red ghost. Isn't her name Shu Yu? Chen Mu became more and more confused. And in a laboratory somewhere thousands of kilometers away from him, the white-haired old man sitting in front of a pile of precision instruments raised his hand and pushed the glass's frame, and was watching the prompt that popped up on the huge screen in front of him. Reformed body number 122, the red ghost, has died. Instacle, you really don't respect the fruits of my labor. The white-haired old man laughed at himself. Raise your hands, and dance your fingers on the console in front of you, followed by a large area of data appearing on the screen. For a human being, is this data too outrageous? Soon, he tried to convince himself again. After all, he is number one in the world. Because he is so powerful, he is qualified to be my data research object. If I can collect his data to create a perfect modified body, and then use it as a template to mass produce. He didn't dare to think about it, he didn't dare to continue thinking about it. Because now I can't stop, my body is shaking with excitement. He is very grateful to God for giving him such a chance to conquer the world. The talent skill he obtained is the Transformation Laboratory, which can be transformed, or it is called to upgrade and evolve human beings. At present, there is a bottleneck in the research, and the data of the research objects is not enough. It is not a good choice to use zombies and monsters as data collection objects. They do have powerful attack capabilities, but the attack method is too simple, just powerful. Only then did I think of taking people as the research object, and I naturally thought of Chen Mu, who was very popular in the Tianbang and Debang. That's why they sent the new humans developed by the latest research to apply to Chen Mu for the arena challenge. Facts have proved that Chen Mu did not disappoint the white-haired old man. In his eyes, Chen Mu is like an inexhaustible golden mountain. Worth discovering. Whether or not my God of War plan can be successful depends entirely on you. The white-haired old man smiled expectantly. However, what he didn't know was that Chen Mu had returned to the normal world from the arena with the red ghost undead form he transformed. In the RV, the red ghost was summoned, and the color changed slightly. Chen Mu didn't expect that besides the three colors of gray, white and black, the undead also had an extra red color. It's just a bit deeper than the original red ghost. Otherwise, I would have to change the name to White Ghost. Sure enough, no matter how he looked at it, Chen Mu felt that this guy didn't look like a person. It can be said that she is not human, but she can use the arena function that humans can only use, and challenge herself. Chen Mu originally thought that the change in appearance was due to the effect of her skills. But after some practical operation, you will find that there are some similarities, but not exactly the same. Demonization is a full attribute improvement skill, and the body will turn red and stronger, but there are no mechanical equipment. If the red ghost was using an SSS level skill at the time, maybe everything could be explained, but an E-level skill should not burst out with such strength. It doesn't match at all. From this, it can be proved that most of Shigui's combat power comes from that equipment. Extremely lucky. What do you get from completing the mission? Apart from this, there seems to be no other better explanation. In the final analysis, in Chen Mu's opinion, it is still very strange for an E-level skill to receive a strength reward that can at least rival that of an A-level skill. He wasn't sure if he was being too suspicious. I always feel that after the copy of the underworld, anything, no matter how big or small, is worthy of suspicion and suspicion. That guy is really a fool. Chen Mu raised his hand to his forehead, and his resentment towards the creator god only increased. With a wave of his hand, Kai Gui sank into the shadow world, as if he had never appeared before. Just when Chen Mu was hesitating, should he rest or do something next? Just halfway through standing up, the familiar prompt window popped up again. Player, Huliet, has initiated an arena challenge application for you, do you accept it? Again, Chen Mu frowned. All of this is really abnormal. But he still chose to agree. It is necessary to find out who is behind the scenes. This is definitely not a simple coincidence, it can be explained. Confirming the surrounding environment, host status. Confirmation is correct. The arena is about to be teleported. This time, I didn't have time to explain to Miriam, and Miriam was very obedient and didn't ask any more questions. Successful transmission. The two appeared in the arena. That's right, the two, at least this time, Chen Mu could tell that the other was a person. The dress is very wild, like a person from an ancient tribe, dressed in brown and yellow, matched with milky white beast fur clothing. The skin is wheat-colored, and the hair is brown-black, with high rise. The thick beast fur on the lower body is in sharp contrast to the bare upper body. There are still a lot of tattoos on the upper body, and Chen Mu can't identify the tattoo totem, which is full of mysterious colors. It wears white animal fur around its neck, and yellow fangs of an unknown animal. A severed animal claw is tied to the arm with a belt, and the sharp claw is stretched out and does not grow naturally. Hey, use the body parts of the hunting target as a weapon. It's really primitive. For a while, Chen Mu was really not sure whether there was any connection between this guy in front of him and the red ghost. Why are you challenging me? Chen Mu asked loudly. Quote. Huliet, aren't you going to answer? Is it just being indifferent? Or, did you not to put me in one's eyes at all? Chen Mu said to himself. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The 60-second countdown is over. Like Kai Gui, Huliet chose to take the initiative and seize the opportunity. In terms of movement speed, it is slower than Shigui, but several times faster than ordinary people. After quickly approaching Chen Mu, he raised the animal claws on his wrists and swung them down. Sparks fly. A wall of earth was summoned by Chen Mu to resist it. Huliet's animal claws only left a claw mark a few centimeters deep on it. It is not enough to break through a half-meter thick earth wall. Then, Huliet backed away quickly, and suddenly lay on the ground, on all fours. Chen Mu thought he was trying to perform a 5-body prostration to himself. Unexpectedly, his body and limbs began to grow violently. During this process, lush white hair also grew. Wrong. This is more like animal hair. He is becoming more and more like a beast. It also has a thick, bushy tail. Looking at this face, it looks like a combination of a wolf and a lion. The mane is strong and looks a bit sacred. The hair on the right cheek is actually tied with a small braid that hangs down. On the side of the front paw, a black bony part grows, as if attached to a black rock, and above that, there is a protruding yellow lens with extremely low transparency, long. The neck is also protected by 3 such stone armors superimposed. And above that, like an angel's halo, suspended the same yellow crystal, the width of the shoulder and arm. Divided into 3 pieces, both sides are symmetrical in size, length and width, plus the top one, which is arranged in the middle, looks like a spar of leaves. What is the role? It is not known yet. Maybe, just decoration. Looks sacred. Originally, he was just a little boy of about 1.5 meters, but now, after turning into a beast, even if an adult male lion was in front of him, he was no different from a little boy. In terms of size, he was comparable to a grown elephant. Coupled with the thick and long white hair mixed with a little brown ash, it looks very difficult to mess with. He lowered his head, raised a pair of golden eyes, and stared upward at Chen Mu, full of hostility. He kept changing his steps, trying to attack Chen Mu from the flank and avoid the stone wall. Ha! Sighed, feeling quite helpless. All of them didn't speak, didn't even say hello, they were going to fight themselves to the death. This is the second time that this feeling of being kept in the dark and not knowing anything can only be guessed, which makes Chen Mu very upset. What did the Creator God do? Chen Mu felt that the possibility was very low, and the reason for his judgment was very simple. No matter the red ghost or the beast-like Huliet in front of him, he could only say that they were stronger than humans. But it is completely incomparable with the monster boss that Chen Mu encountered in the copy of the underworld before. The two really want to match, the former can only be killed in seconds. As for the latter, he could only be instantly killed by Chen Mu. That's why Chen Mu can talk to them calmly like this. Are you really not going to say anything? Chen Mu asked finally. Hu Liet still had no intention of opening his mouth, and ran forward on all fours, stepping on the ground with his claws and thick pads, making a rattling noise. Chen Mu's arm became liquid metal, extended, and sharpened, looking like a knight's spear, and then solidified. Facing Hu Liet, who was flying towards him, he stabbed out with one blow. Poochie. Because the distance was too close, Hu Liet had no time to react, and was shot into the chest. Slap. A drop of warm blood splashed and landed on Chen Mu's face. Hu Liet also wanted to swing the animal claws to attack Chen Mu. Chen Mu's arm moved back a little, and immediately stabbed deeper. The tip of the gun pierced directly from Hu Liet's back. Hu Liet gave up the attack, hugged Chen Mu's liquefied arm with both claws, landed with both feet, exerted force, retreated quickly, pulled out the spear that pierced his chest, and opened the distance. Isn't that dead? You know, what Chen Mu just aimed at was Hu Liet's heart. Is it like most zombie monsters, the weakness is in the head? He guessed. Hu Liet turned around, ran quickly for more than 10 meters, then turned his body suddenly, his front paws stretched out from his fleshy palms, exerted force, and grabbed the ground, rubbing sparks. The sound was sharp and piercing, and he used the animal body to complete the drift. Along the way, a drop of blood. The abdomen was still clearly visible at this time, and a large amount of blood was pulled along the thread, twisted into a strand, and the red-dyed white hair flowed to the ground. That blood volume. Chen Mu even felt that if he didn't need to do anything deliberately, Hu Liet would also die from excessive blood loss. He just thought that, and then, the blood stopped flowing, and it stopped suddenly. Self-healing ability. Or props. You don't need to look at it, you can still judge it. Hu Liet raised his left front paw, ready to launch the next attack. Chen Mu didn't want to waste any more time on him. He raised his spear arm high and swung it down heavily. A 3 to 4 meter long and wide wind blade, enough to pierce through Hu Liet's wind blade, continued to cut through the ground, and quickly slashed towards him. The ground was broken, and a large amount of gravel and sand were turned out. Seeing this scene, Hu Liet's raised left paw fell to the ground suddenly. Immediately, a scene that Chen Mu never expected happened. Mecha. From head to toe, it spread all over the body, even covering the tail. Completely transform a look. From fauvism to science fiction. Boom, 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 boom. The wind blade slashed head-on, hitting Hu Liet's head heavily, and sparks surged, forcing his huge body back abruptly. It was a full 20 or 30 meters away before finally slowing down. The metal-wrapped sharp claws easily pierced the ground to slow down. It was really blocked by him. So you're waiting for me here. Chen Mu smiled wryly. From the texture of the light mecha attached, Chen Mu can basically be sure that there is definitely a connection between this guy and the red ghost. Someone is behind his back, deliberately making trouble for himself. But after thinking about it, it seems that this cannot be called trouble. It's completely sending equipment. The fighting power is not low. Regardless of Shigui or Hu Liet in front of him, Chen Mu expressed his satisfaction. Hu Liet, who is covered with mechas all over his body, looks more threatening than a simple beast. The appearance is more fierce, and the sacratization has disappeared without a trace. Da da da. While running, the sound of metal touching the ground was extremely noisy, with a slight rhythm, getting faster and faster. Faster and faster. The liquefied spear melted, and the fire knife was removed from the system backpack during a two-handed cupped fist. Raise your right shoulder high. Boom. When Hu Liet reached his attack distance, he swooped up at the same time. Chen Mu dropped the knife with all his strength. The flames burned, making the originally transparent wind blade no longer transparent, and the flames blazed like a half-moon hanging high in the night sky. No, it is brighter and more eye-catching than that. In the process of landing, numerous cracks were formed in an instant, and the mech shattered. The fur was burned to ashes. Clearly see the black bone lines in the flames. Then, together with the bones, evaporated together. Boom. After penetrating and killing Hu Liet, the wind blade slashed on the electronic barrier again, breaking a huge hole. A banner was drawn at the entrance of the cave, and a red light was lit, indicating that it should not be approached. Too late to recover. But in front of Chen Mu, the only thing about Huliet was the black dust floating in the air like snow. Calm, do not. Chen Mu panicked to the extreme. Use too much force. Huliet was almost knocked out of his wits, leaving nothing behind. Get it now. Call. Extracting. Extraction successful. Congratulations to the host for obtaining the skill Beastization, Strength attribute plus 20, Speed attribute plus 5. Congratulations to the host for obtaining the E-level skill Beastization, which will automatically upgrade to SSS level Beastmaster simulation. Calling. Successful summoning. Congratulations to the host for obtaining the mechanical wolf lion. Not as a human, but as a beast. Fortunately, Chen Mu is not picky. Anyway, Huliet's human form is quite weak and completely unnecessary. And he is a man again. Unlike Kai Gui, there is still room for appreciation. Behind the screen. My favorite work, can it only last for 2 minutes? That guy is really a monster. Because Chen Mu chose to refuse to watch the battle, even if the white-haired old man installed a real-time transmission camera on Huliet, he would be blocked at the same time. The only thing he can receive is the battle data between Huliet and Chen Mu. After the ice, is it flames and wind blades again? How many skills does he have? His brows frowned into a big chuan. Tonight, he didn't decide to send a reformer to challenge Chen Mu, but decided to think about how to improve his defense and collect materials by the way. Materials for transforming humans will not appear out of thin air. Chen Mu returned to the RV smoothly. After waiting for half an hour, I added some food and water by the way. He can now assert, it seems that a well-meaning person does not plan to continue sending me equipment. Not sleepy at all, and restless. Simply open the Tower of Trials and see if the number of challenges has recovered. Do you want to go to the 11th floor of the Tower of Trials? Looking at the system prompt that popped up in front of him, Chen Mu smiled slightly. Is there no restriction on entry? Or, is it the system that you took back the authority of this part, so that he can't restrict me? The system did not respond to this. Chen Mu didn't ask any more questions. This time, he decided to bring Miria along so that she wouldn't be too bored. After all, it was originally a weapon for fighting, and it has been idle, which does not conform to the concept she was created for. When she learned that she could participate in this operation, Miria couldn't hide her inner joy at all, and assured Chen Mu loudly, Milia will definitely not let the master down. Thanks to Chen Mu, who knew in advance that Miria was a mechanical life form, otherwise she would have suspected that she was just a part of her body that had undergone mechanical transformation. I have to say that this management system is really powerful, not inferior to real people at all. As for whether mechanical lifeforms are related to humans, the answer is no. Why so sure? Because long before that, Chen Mu used the magic pupil to completely see through Miria's whole body, and it was indeed assembled from various materials. Even the skin that looks like a real person, even fairer and softer than a real person, has nothing to do with a person, it is a synthetic material. A black technology material that cannot be analyzed by human technology. Chen Mu doesn't think there is any problem with this. To some extent, machines are easier to understand and control than human hearts. The portal opens in front of you. Chen Mu strode into it. I want to see what kind of problems Shuangshi Shen will arrange for himself this time, or what kind of gifts will be given. In order to bring Miria into the Tower of Trials conveniently, Chen Mu chose to store it as an item in the system backpack first. After entering the Tower of Trials, Chen Mu opened the system backpack again, found Miria, and released it. At the same time, pay attention to the surrounding environment, which is different from the previous maze and cave. The style of painting has completely changed here. It's like a port city. But the outlook is blurry. Similar to game textures. Boom. Chen Mu took out a gun and shot it. A warning electronic barrier immediately appeared and no passage was allowed. Area of activity is restricted. Looking around, there are endless large containers piled up like a mountain, all kinds of colors, red, white, orange and blue, everything that one expects to find. Chen Mu was not interested in what was inside. The only thing that interests Chen Mu is the increasingly turbulent deep sea in front of him. This is a man-made continent, located in the deep sea area, coupled with the tumbling white water bubbles. Chen Mu can't see clearly with the naked eye what is lurking beneath it. But what he can be sure of is that there must be something at work below. The reason is very simple. Why is there only big waves rolling in such a large sea area? It is too abnormal. Can you see anything? Chen Mu asked curiously, seeing Miria staring intently at the sea. Miria shook her head and replied, it's too turbid to analyze. In terms of data, this phenomenon is abnormal. That's it. Chen Mu used his skill to step into the air, and after a few jumps, he was already at a height of 10 meters. After the height is increased and the field of vision is expanded, the look and feel will be different instantly. It can be clearly seen that the color of this small sea area is deeper than that of the side. But it's not because the seawater is turbid, but there is a large dark shadow underneath. What is this shadow? Combined with the 3 words of the Tower of Trials, it is not difficult to guess. Chen Mu shouted, and Milia stayed away. Immediately, continued to jump in the air, rising to a distance of nearly 100 meters. At the same time, I noticed that Miria had withdrawn from the 100-meter range, and was standing on a container, holding a black devil party that changed the shape of the gun, ready to fight at any time, supporting Chen Mu. Open the system backpack. Swipe down. His gaze rested on the cluster bomb that had been dismantled from the fighter jet earlier. Take out one and use the SSS-level object control technique to suspend it in midair and keep it in a state of not falling. The warhead was aimed at the shadow hidden under the deep sea. Since you don't want to come out, then I'll help you. Chen Mu showed a sinister smile. The raised hands were suddenly pressed down. Cluster bombs are manually triggered and fall vertically and quickly. The whole fell into the deep sea. The mother bomb disintegrated in the sea water, and the sub-bombs began to disperse. Boom, boom, boom. First, the fire was lit in the deep sea. From the degree of light and darkness, it is not difficult to judge how deep the sea is. Boom, boom, boom. There was a muffled sound, and then, water jets rushed up one after another and exploded. Black smoke billowed out of it. The flames from the explosion of the cluster bomb just happened to cover the entire shadow range that Chen Mu could see at a glance. Aren't you coming out yet? Just as Chen Mu was preparing to continue using the second cluster bomb. The system backpack has just been opened, and the cluster bomb has not yet been found. In my mind, I have already taken the first step, and there is a crisis reminder. Boom. Then, a huge pillar broke through the water surface from under the deep sea and stretched out. Set off a stormy sea. If you take a closer look, you will find that this thing is not unfamiliar. The suction cups and the shape are clearly tentacles. However, compared to Chen Mu's impression of the octopus tentacles, this thing is ridiculously big. You know, Chen Mu is now at an altitude of 100 meters, but the tentacle is clearly standing in front of him. Compared with Chen Mu, a sucker is like a world wide open. The octopus feet, which were not enough to fit between the teeth, are now estimated to be enough to feed millions of people. The difference from ordinary octopus feet is that apart from their large size, there are also toes, which are actually designed with spears, which seem to increase their aggressiveness. The power of this spear is no joke. Master, seeing the octopus slapping down on Chen Mu, Miria's eyes were full of killing intent. Move quickly on top of the container. Boom. During the movement, a flame of life burned, enveloping the whole body. After the breakthrough, the transition from Loli to Oni-san was completed. After the distance is shortened to the attack range. He moved his front foot horizontally, braked suddenly, raised the gun in his hand with both hands, aimed at the octopus foot, and fired a laser. The effect seems to be somewhat unsatisfactory. Burnt marks, not even covered with a white bottom sucker. Too late to be disappointed. Miria jumped off the container. Raise the gun with one hand, and swing it to the right, so that the gun body is parallel to the body. As soon as he let go, the gun began to deform 3 times. Switch to heavy artillery mode. Adjust the muzzle and aim at the octopus feet. No matter what Miria said, that strange thing would not hurt Chen Mu. The heavy artillery is fully charged and ready to go. As a result, in the next second, Chen Mu waved his arm, and ripples in the air trembled, like a crescent moon, rapidly piercing through the octopus feet. The octopus legs stopped waving. Then in the third position, misplaced, slipped. The fracture is neat. Seeing this scene, Miria was surprised and cancelled the firing of the heavy artillery. Master is so strong. In her eyes, Chen Mu just waved his hand casually. At the same time, the huge octopus is falling rapidly. This size, volume, and high probability will directly cause a huge gap in this man-made continent. But the reality is completely different from what Chen Mu thought in his mind. During the fall of the severed foot, it was quickly covered by patches of red, similar to mosaics, and cleared away. Almost at the same time, as much as the broken foot was removed, and as much as the octopus tentacles were restored, pieces of red mosaics appeared and disappeared quickly. It's just that the mosaic here is to heal the wound of the deep-sea monster. The fracture grew rapidly visible to the naked eye, and it was no different from before it was cut off by Chen Mu. The whole process happened so quickly that the octopus had no time to land on its broken leg. Not a sound was made. Chen Mu knew that the regeneration ability of octopuses was very strong, but he didn't expect that after turning into a monster, it would be so strong. It seems that if you want to kill it, you have to start from the bottom of the sea. No wonder this guy has been hiding inside, not showing his head. Chen Mu hasn't acted yet. Boom, boom, boom. The octopus tentacles stretched out and stabbed randomly from under the deep sea. Double-teamed Chen Mu. It looked as if he was locked in a cage. The tentacles were bent backwards, as if ready to be whipped down. Chen Mu raised his arm, holding the skate that appeared out of thin air with one hand. I want to test my thoughts again. Raise the blade horizontally, make a 360-degree turn on the spot, and swing the knife in circles. The cold air is superimposed with the saber air, just like splashing hot water in an extremely cold place. The 8 octopus tentacles were cut off in an instant. During the falling process, it was quickly frozen, and the 2 ends were frozen. As for the effect, it can't be said that there is no, but it just slows down the recovery speed of the octopus tentacles. It cannot be completely prevented and hinders regeneration. Underwater, especially deep-sea combat, is too unpredictable for Chen Mu as a human being. Sure enough, we still have to find a way to make it come out of the water. Immediately, all the attributes that have not been used are added in one go. Strength attribute plus 13451. Speed attribute plus 8900. Defense attribute plus 5786. ... Chen Mu walked through the air and randomly selected an octopus tentacles. The arms grow to the limit and hug the whole body. Tens of thousands of power attributes, plus 10,000 times the power of SSS level. Chen Mu wanted to see if he could force that coward out of the deep sea with brute force. Roar. There was a strange roar. With so many power attributes, the real effect after matching tens of thousands of times of power is far beyond Chen Mu's imagination. He didn't even feel that the deep-sea monster was resisting. When he opened his eyes, he saw a giant mass as huge as a mountain, passing by his eyes. With another slam of force with both arms, it turned 360 degrees and smashed it hard on the pier. The container was damaged, and the sound of rolling down continued, which was very noisy and ear-piercing. Even because of that guy, coupled with the pressure of Chen Mu's downward fall, the artificial pier sank for more than half, and then floated up again, and the waves were rolling. At the same time, it proves that the pier created by man-made reclamation is definitely not a tofu project, and the quality is ridiculously good. It didn't even get crushed. The big guy seemed stunned by the fall and didn't respond for a while. What Chen Mu can be sure of is that it is definitely not dead, because he has not seen any system reminders about killing it. Looking at the appearance, it is quite similar to what an octopus should look like in cognition. It's just that the texture of the skin is like asphalt, a little gray, uneven, and messy. If a fisherman travels and encounters this kind of thing, it will definitely be an epic disaster. No matter how big the fishing boat is, it is impossible to withstand its attack. With only one octopus foot, it can be easily crushed and a huge ship can be broken apart. Chen Mu took out another cluster bomb. Moved to a higher position to give the cluster bomb plenty of room to play. He covered it tightly with his hands. The mother bomb disintegrated, and the sub-bombs dispersed in an explosive manner, hitting the body and tentacles of the giant octopus densely. Boom, 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 boom. This time, the scene after the explosion was much more intuitive. The sound, the power of the explosion, is not affected by anything, and it perfectly displays its true effect. The giant octopus was blown to pieces, but it took a few breaths to complete the healing. Despair. How can it be hopeless? Chen Mu has already begun to look forward to himself after acquiring this skill. Any wound, even if the entire arm is cut off, it can be called meat sauce, but it can still be restored. How desperate is the opponent? Looking back at the giant octopus, although the wound has healed, the anger in its heart is expanding and fermenting infinitely. It has reached an unstoppable level. Set up a few octopus legs to wrap around the pendant machine, or insert them into the ground to support the huge body and turn over a bit. Head down, bottom up, aim at Chen Mu. The sucker, the chrysanthemum-like mouth, opened like a black hole in an instant. The tender, pink flesh is exposed, and the fangs that grow on it are arranged in circles. These fangs can be said to be quite individual. Some are pointed and long, some are thick, some have hooks, and some have different directions. In short, full of character. Each has its own strengths and does not affect each other. Neat and messy, arranged in a circle, you can't see the end at all. The huge mouth of the abyss attacked Chen Mu, and it had a strong suction force. It is even more terrifying than the real abyss. Once involved, it is not difficult to imagine with your toes how tragic the end will be in the face of a mouth full of fangs that is more terrifying than a meat grinder. You like to eat, don't you? Chen Mu raised his hands and rubbed fireballs with his bare hands. The speed of convergence, as fast as the blink of an eye, has grown more than 10 times. In a blink of an eye, the size of the fireball was almost the same as the mouth of the giant octopus. When the giant octopus realized that something was wrong and moved back, there was no time. Both are close at hand. Chen Mu was only a dozen meters away from the nearest fang. Holding the big fireball with both hands, with the momentum of a slam dunk, he covered it with all his strength. Rumble. The huge fireball descended rapidly, scorching to the point where the surface of the sea boiled, and the white smoke was lingering like thick fog. It's like being in a fairyland. Submerge the bodies of many giant octopuses. Miria, who could still see her figure just now, was completely shrouded in it at this time. Only the barrel of the heavy artillery was barely exposed. The big fireball was accurately poured into the abyssal mouth of the giant octopus. The howls don't stop. It's sizzling hot. Still want to escape. Chen Mu will not give the giant octopus a chance. This thing, it has to eat it if it eats it, or it has to eat it if it doesn't eat it. Chen Mu's wrists were touching, his fingers were half-clasped, and his palm was aimed at the fireball, like a blooming flower. Compress air to add thrust to it. Boom! The big fireball accelerated its impact and completely sank into the body of the giant octopus. Seeing that the giant octopus wanted to resist, Chen Mu approached it in a blink of an eye, raising his feet high. How tall! This calf is almost touching the face. It fell suddenly. It hit the giant octopus lips, forcing its flesh to elongate, covering the entire mouth of the abyss. Rumble. Next, it was clearly visible that the body of the giant octopus began to grow rapidly. Another state. Obviously not the case, it was forcibly stretched. What is it? It is not difficult to guess from the scene where it is pulled until it is almost transparent, and you can vaguely see the scene where the flames are blooming layer by layer. Boom, boom, boom. In the next second, firelight rushed out of the giant octopus eyes and gaps in its tightly closed mouth, in different lengths. How painful it is clearly visible from the 8 octopus feet that are whipping wildly. The noise continued. A large piece of the thick container was smashed into a thin iron sheet in an instant. Boom, boom, slap, slap, pat. After a few seconds, the octopus head exploded because it couldn't bear the pressure. Minced meat, thick ink splatters, like pouring rain, people have nowhere to hide. The 8 tentacles were also broken into pieces of different lengths and flew down everywhere. It's just that this time, there is no healing like before. Completely dead, utterly dead. Why is Chen Mu so sure? Because in front of you, a system prompt has popped up. Successfully killed the giant deep-sea octopus. Congratulations to the host for getting the customs clearance package, killing point plus 1000. Did you increase the difficulty on purpose? Chen Mu even suspected that this was not a trial tower at all, but he used the passage of the trial tower to teleport himself to other places. Just to use the hands of those monsters to get rid of himself. Little do they know that doing so will only make themselves stronger and stronger, without exception. Extracting. Extraction successful. Congratulations to the host for obtaining the skill Tentacle Whip, Strength Attribute plus 200, Defense Attribute plus 150, Speed Attribute plus 20. Congratulations to the host for obtaining the skill Tentacle Whip, which automatically upgrades to SSS level Infinite Summoning Tentacles. Seeing the word infinite, Chen Mu always felt that since the copy of the Underworld, the system has fully mastered the functions of the first system, and some inherent limitations of the original SSS level skills are being broken one by one. For example, the sword array can only have a maximum of 100 swords, and the 1-minute duration of the ghost cover-up skill and so on. Aside from the past, the current skills can not only be upgraded to SSS in seconds, but there are no restrictions on their use after the upgrade. Although the Shuangshi God gave humans the right to awaken SSS level skills talent, SSS level skills do not mean invincibility. Cooldown, consumption, duration, quantity, these are all shackles. Gives a sense of contradiction. I want to make humans stronger, but I don't want them to become too strong. Maybe it's because you're afraid of losing control. Like me, Chen Mu joked about own. Although it is a joke, it can indeed explain some things. If it wasn't for worrying about getting out of control, why did he have to adjust the rules over and over again, trying to get rid of himself? You can't really want to give yourself equipment, can you? I am not related to him, why would I do that? Not to mention that in the previous copy of the Underworld, I was really close to losing my life. Based on this alone, don't let Chen Mu find him. Once you find him, even if it is a god, you will kill him. Back to the topic, start calling. With such a large undead army, Chen Mu is not willing to miss it. Calling. Successful summoning. Congratulations to the host for obtaining a giant deep-sea octopus. The dark, tall figure was reshaped in front of him, and it looked quite amazing. Thinking that this big guy will be used by him in the future, Chen Mu feels even more that killing a god doesn't seem to be a difficult task. After sinking the deep-sea giant octopus into the shadow world for now, Chen Mu descended and joined Miria. Call. The wind is blowing. With a wave of his hand, he blew it away, breaking away the white air that was still covering this area. How is it? Are you okay? Chen Mu asked with concern. Thank you, Master, for your concern. I'm fine. Miria shook her head with an apologetic expression. I'm sorry that I didn't help you. It's okay, there is still a long time to come, and you have plenty of opportunities. Chen Mu touched Miria's head, telling her not to lose heart. I always feel that in Oni-san form, it's a bit weird to do that. But fortunately, Miria did not reject it, and still enjoyed it. Well, Miria will definitely work hard. Miria's fighting spirit was ignited again. Raise your hand, put your palm on the heavy cannon, it will automatically fold and become the first form, Black Devil side. Do you want to go to a higher level of the Tower of Trials? Facing the system prompt that popped up in front of him, Chen Mu chose yes without hesitation. Just kidding, Chen Mu won't be able to sleep if he doesn't clear all the remaining 9 floors. The portal opens in front of you. Are you ready? Chen Mu turned to look at Miria, asking for confirmation. Well, ready. Miria nodded heavily, affirming. Chen Mu asked Miria to step into the portal at the same time as himself, so as to avoid the trouble of taking in and out. The two stepped into the portal together and came to the 12th floor of the Tower of Trials. The environment here is different from the environment on the 11th floor. The surroundings are dark, shrouded in gray and black, and it looks like a poisonous fog. The visibility is extremely low. If Chen Mu does not use the magic pupil, he can only see clearly within a radius of about 6 meters. On the blue-gray ground, like Alopecia areata, there are scattered short, yellow weeds, or moss. Is this still a tower? Chen Mu laughed. Since the 10th floor, it is not an exaggeration to describe each floor as a world. Just as Chen Mu was about to activate the magic pupil to see what was happening around him. But by coincidence, a prompt window popped up. About the Tower of Trials, there is a new announcement, do you want to check it? New announcement. Can there be any new announcements? Are you planning to talk about technology issues, unable to quit, and keep me confined here? Chen Mu guessed irresponsibly. Still decided to open it up. New rewards in the Tower of Trials. After reaching the top, you can meet with God and get a chance to make a wish, money, power, strength. Meet God. Is that guy hiding in? Chen Mu raised his head. Is that up there? He wasn't sure what the consequences would be if he climbed to the top to slaughter the god. But in the end, Chen Mu easily convinced himself that no matter what the consequences are, for a person who wants to kill himself, if he doesn't kill him, why not save it for the new year? So what if it's quick? Once in a while, count in a moment. Even if the sky is falling, he can still stand up. Turn off system prompts. Chen Mu lowered his gaze, his pupils changed a color, and turned on the magic pupils. Immediately, a large number of dense colors, representing the colors of zombies and monsters, poured in, filling the field of vision. Filled in the true sense. Everything you see at a glance. Judging from the outline of the color, Chen Mu thinks it is a spider. The closest thing that can be imagined in my mind is this kind of creature. It has 8 legs and a head that is less than 1/10 the size of a buttock. It is so similar. This guy is ridiculously big. A spider was able to catch up to an adult elephant so quickly that other people saw it and ran away in fright. Not to mention such a large group. Chen Mu tried it. This thick fog can't be blown away, it belongs to a fixed environment, and it is used to increase the difficulty. Blocked vision will greatly increase people's panic. Because they don't know when, from where, what will jump out. Fear comes from the unknown. A spider rushed out of the thick fog first. The face is very large, shaped like a bird's eye view of the human brain, and the texture of the body is similar to cement, which is deeper. Under the 2 big dark eyes, there is a circle of small eyes, which is not obvious under this skin color. Further down, there is a pair of exposed mandibles, which are responsible for pulling food into the mouth, covered with needle-like fluff. 8 thick spider legs, with protruding bony spurs. Those who don't know it may think it is a mace. The reason why there is such a big gap between the head and the body is that there are small spiders that are half as long as crawling on it. It is far from being as big as its mother. It is covered with spider webs, and there are still many arrows and swords left on its body. It is obvious at a glance that it has been attacked many times. How it will end is not difficult to guess from the fact that it can still stand in front of itself. Da da da, da da da. The sound of the pointed feet touching the ground was very rapid, and one's heart couldn't help but rush. Seeing that the spider mother was carrying a large group of small spiders on her back, Miria planned to attack Chen Mu. Hurry up to change the Rubik's Cube into its second form, raise your hands up, aim and shoot. Boom. The laser directly blasted the spider mother's body. Simple, as it can be active on the 12th floor of the Tower of Trials, and it is specially used to deal with own monsters. How could it be simple? Although the spider mother's body exploded, those little spiders were miraculously unharmed and quickly gnawed and devoured the spider mother's flesh and blood. And grow into a perfect body at a speed visible to the naked eye. More than a dozen little spiders grew up with only the body of a spider mother. This efficiency surprised Chen Mu. It turns out that the spider mother itself is actually a trap. It is not an exaggeration to say that the puppet exists only to provide nourishment for the little spider. Nutrients are amazing. After the little spider grew up, it formed an encirclement circle with other spider mothers who broke through the dense fog one after another, enclosing Chen Mu and Miria in it. Growl. Chen Mu held a fire knife, the flames covered the blade, and drew a circle around him. Immediately lifted his foot. Boom. The fire increased, and the circle of fire expanded until it approached the spiders. Obviously, they are afraid of fire. Even though they were very greedy for this beautiful piece of meat, Chen Mu, they all chose to retreat, unwilling to be burned by the fierce fire. So I'm really afraid of fire. Chen Mu smiled triumphantly. The gate to the shadow world opens, and the 5-headed dragon, the Red Emperor, emerges from it. Boom, boom, boom. The 5-headed dragon directly waved its wings and soared into the sky. Then you can see that one after another flames are rushing down from the sky, and the pillars of fire are sweeping in the thick fog. The Red Emperor followed closely, turned into a dragon shape, waved his 4 wings, summoned 4 flame dragons, flew into the air, occupied the air supremacy, and carried out a firepower attack on the spider swarm. The dark gray fog was illuminated by the sky full of flames. In it turned into a sea of flames. This raging fire doesn't care about any spider mothers, little spiders, they will all be burned to death. Most of them didn't even have a chance to ask for nutrition, so they were burned into coke and curled up into a ball. With a slight touch, it will split into several petals. The shrill screams came one after another. Quote. Miria thought she could help, but she didn't expect that she didn't need to do it herself. Not disappointed, decided to continue working hard. After that, Chen Mu asked Miria to stay in the circle of fire and not to go out. In the sea of spider corpses piled up within a radius of 100 meters, he moved quickly and extracted. Call. Extracting. Extraction successful. Congratulations to the host for obtaining skill support, defense attribute plus 100, speed attribute plus 50. Congratulations to the host for obtaining skill support, automatically upgraded to SSS level mandatory sharing. Chen Mu originally thought that the tens of thousands of undead spiders and hundreds of thousands of attribute points would be the biggest gain. Unexpectedly, skills are the strongest existence among them. Who would have thought that such a heaven-defying skill could be extracted from this small boss who wins by numbers? Compulsory sharing of skills. Various items. In other words, in Chen Mu's eyes, everyone can be the spider mother who supports her greedy little spider. Heaven-defying. True heaven-defying. Put your mind away and continue working. Calling. Successful summoning. Congratulations on getting the undead spider mother. Successful summoning. Congratulations on getting the undead spider mother. Successful summoning. Congratulations on getting the undead spider mother. ... Very busy, but very busy. Chen Mu didn't mind being in a hurry like this. The five-headed dragon, together with the Red Emperor and the Yanlong he summoned, can kill at an unimaginable speed. Chen Mu finally extracted and summoned the last spider mother. A total of 17,886 spider mothers have been added. This is just a number on the bright side, you know, on each spider mother, there are no less than 12 little spiders on her back. Calculated according to the minimum, Chen Mu harvested 214,392 undead troops on the 12th floor of the Tower of Trials alone. More than 200,000. This is the real Legion. And it's an army composed of monsters and undead, 1 against 10. 1 against 100, 1 against 1,000, 1 against 10,000. Aside from those low-level zombies, which one of these five-headed dragons, the Red Emperor and the White Emperor, can't cause a bloodbath in the killing world? Chen Mu looked up at the sky, and said in a low voice, "Just wash your neck well, and wait to be beheaded by me." All the undead, including the five-headed dragon and the Red Emperor, all returned to the shadow world. Chen Mu walked out of the fog and returned to Miria. The moment one foot stepped on the fire circle, the flame automatically extinguished, forming a circle from both ends and dissipating. There is a little bit of black smoke left, drifting with the breeze blowing while walking, getting thinner and thinner. Okay, it's all settled," Chen Mu said habitually. This is the biggest reason why Miria does not exist in the form of undead. Chen Mu doesn't need her to be strong, he just needs to take care of his loneliness. Self-enclosed for a long time, Chen Mu worried that one day he would drive himself into a lunatic. As a mechanical life form, Chen Mu's conversation with it was very smooth and more comfortable. "Congratulations, Master." In Oni-san form, Miria smiled slightly, very charming. "Well, that's fine, let's continue to the next floor," Chen Mu said. "Okay," Miria agreed, and the two stood side by side. After the portal to the 13th floor opened, they walked in at the same pace. Arriving at the 13th floor, the painting style here has changed abruptly, completely different from the 11th and 12th floors. It is a Western church, very tall and majestic, there is no one on the chairs, hundreds of seats, all empty, and there is no dust, clean and holy. The tightly arranged striped columns, plus the dragon scale-like design on the ceiling tens of meters high, are very layered, and at the same time, people will feel a little dazzled after looking at it for a long time. Behind, the door is closed. There are no windows on the sides. 3 huge windows, located behind the altar, almost run through the entire curved wall. The light coming in from the window is very dazzling, so dazzling that it is impossible to see clearly what kind of scene is outside the window. And the whole church is illuminated by the sunlight coming in from the 3 windows, showing the feeling of sacred. If those believers saw this, they would probably yell at them. The territory of the gods has turned into a shelter for zombies and monsters. If you want to say different, there are. After the altar, there is no cross, let alone Jesus. Yes, it's just a statue of an angel, with long hair floating slightly to the sides, as if holding something in its hands, its wings closed forward, completely enveloping it. It looks like a heart shape. Chen Mu acted relaxed and calm, just wanted to see what kind of equipment Chuang Shishen wanted to give himself this time. Master, something is wrong in those 3 windows. Miria immediately reminded her after noticing the abnormality. Chen Mu turned his head and saw a guy dressed as a knight walking out of it. But unlike the knights owned by Chen Mu, these guys seem to be made of holy light. There is no entity. And it has wings. Chen Mu chuckled, the knight of the guardian angel. More and more angel knights walked out of the 3 passages that no longer knew whether they should be defined by doors or windows. Some are holding spears, some are holding big swords, some are holding huge shields, some are holding 2-handed swords. Chen Mu originally wanted to use knights to fight against knights, but after thinking about it carefully, they probably won't be of much use. Let go of your thoughts and save your efforts in vain. Decided to give Miria a full chance to perform, and instructed, test the water for me first. Yes, Master. Miria has been waiting for this sentence for a long time, and since just now, she has been acting eager to move. The Black Devil switched to the second form, raised the gun, aimed at the angel knight standing in the front, and pulled the trigger. Boom, boom, a laser is fired. The shield rider immediately rushed forward, using the giant shield in his hand to resist, absorb, or call it purification. Purified Miria's attack. Boom, 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 boom. Miria continued to pull the trigger, firing continuously. In the end, the angel's shield rider dispelled the attack without any damage. In this regard, Milia was not disappointed, let go of her hand, raised the gun with one hand, swung her arm, and switched to the heavy artillery mode. Rumble. The heavy artillery appeared and directly crushed many chairs. Pointing the muzzle at the angel shield rider, Miria grinned. This smile perfectly interprets a word, crazy. She wants to see, this time, if the angel shield rider can stop it. What does it use to block it? After the power is charged, a beam cannon is fired rapidly. Seeing this scene, countless angel shield riders hidden in the crowd waved their wings one after another, overlapping each other with giant golden shields in their hands, forming a wall that resembled a honeycomb section, neat and orderly. Compared with Miria attacking itself, Chen Mu is more willing to believe that what they did was actually to protect the stone statue of the angel behind them. Based on Chen Mu's experience, he is 100% sure that the stone statue of the angel is the boss. These angel knights are nothing but her lackeys. Not worth mentioning. Isn't this a normal thing for running dogs to protect their masters? The black and red beam cannon hit the huge shield composed of dozens of angel shield riders. As Chen Mu expected, there was no difference from before, and it was quickly purified. This ability is interesting, Chen Mu said, wanting it. I just don't know if this angel knight can be extracted and summoned. If not, the knight is also pretty good as the summoned item of the angel boss. Make the angel own, and have her summon the angel knight. And I can also extract the summoning skills she possesses with a high probability. It belongs to a strong alliance. Master, I'm very sorry, Miria is useless and has failed your expectations. After several failed attempts, Miria knew that with her own strength, she was no match for those knights who braved the holy light, so she took the initiative to plead guilty. Don't worry about it. The strength of these monsters will become stronger with each level up. If you put them outside, they belong to the type that can destroy the world. It is already very good that you can restrain their actions. Chen Mu comforted. Let Milia not have to blame herself for such a trivial matter. Master, you are really gentle. Miria's eyes were filled with emotion. Chen Mu intends to try it himself. How hard is the shield wall? While walking, grasp the wrist of the right hand with the left hand, clench the right fist, and rotate it. Immediately, a teleportation, plus a mid-air jump, came to the center of the shield wall. Arguably the hardest place. One punch carries tens of thousands of power attributes, and then superimposed on the SSS level 10,000 times power boost. Boom. It set off a sonic boom directly, and it rang through the entire church. Boom. Purification. There was no chance at all. The holy light shield was shattered by Chen Mu in an instant, the pieces flew like glass. The wings of dozens of angel shield riders were broken and flew upside down. Hit the wall, the ground, turned into a touch of holy light, and a pile of dazzling stardust floating upward. It's weaker than expected. I thought to myself, it seems that I have to find time to improve Miria's strength. It's not good if the child has low self-esteem. Seeing this scene, the rest of the angel knights did not show any panic. They waved their wings, raised their weapons, and swept towards Chen Mu one after another. This picture, plus the church as the background, not to mention, it really has a sense of sacred. It's a pity that I couldn't take pictures as a souvenir. Naturally, there is no need to keep these guys alive. Chen Mu's 10 fingers connected to the airline danced wildly like a pianist playing to the climax of the music. Bang, bang, bang. The sound is crisp, not loud, nor noisy. If you don't listen carefully, you may even ignore it directly. The angel knight saw that he was only a short distance away from Chen Mu, but piece by piece, they were shattered into shining stardust by the invisible, wire saw. Float into the air. After getting rid of these angel lackeys, Chen Mu swung his arm violently, the 5 jigsaws tightened, and he slashed towards the angel stone statue. Boom, boom. Unexpectedly, the ashes of the stardust that floated up into the sky, representing hundreds of angel knights, gathered into a huge angel shield knight before the jigsaw in Chen Mu's hand touched the angel stone statue. With the huge shield in his hand, he tried to block the wire saw wrapped around Chen Mu's fingers. As a result, it was wiped out again. Not only did it not block the jigsaw, but it also killed itself. The jigsaw didn't seem to be blocked at all, and continued to whip towards the angel stone statue. At this moment, with a slight difference, a piece of the stone statue's face peeled off. The dazzling holy light shot out like a pillar from it. Then, cracks spread all over the angel's body, and large pieces peeled off. With a flash of light, even Chen Mu couldn't see anything clearly. But he could clearly feel that his jigsaw was gone. The angel is not there. The color of the eyes changed, and the magic pupils were opened. Looking up, the blonde angel's 6 wings spread out, and countless golden feathers slowly floated down from the air. Wearing an inverted triangle swimsuit-style long skirt, the lower body is made of transparent tulle, and the white legs can be seen, slender, round and full, which can be called the golden ratio. An angel of desire, Chen Mu teased. In terms of stature, she is not inferior to Miria, who is in Oni-san form at this time. She closed her eyes tightly and held Shengwei in both hands. That Shengwei, even with magic pupils, cannot pry into the mystery. But behind it, among the 3 windows and doors, more and more angel knights waved their wings, leapt out of it, and approached Chen Mu. Like a torrent, trying to submerge Chen Mu. Don't dare to do it yourself. Do you only call the younger brother? Chen Mu once wondered if the angel itself would be useless except for its beauty and summoning. After all, these 2 advantages alone are enough for her to rampage and kill the world. This idea was ultimately rejected. The reason is very simple. For the female angel to become the boss of the 13th floor, there must be something special about her. These 2 points alone are not convincing at all. It is very difficult to convince Chen Mu that Shuangxishen really opened the back door for himself and sent equipment. Not even possible. It is absolutely impossible for him to have the slightest affection for that guy. His eyes returned to the night torrent. The corner of Chen Mu's lips raised, just in time to try out the new skills he had just acquired. SSS level mandatory sharing. Skill triggered successfully. Please select the option you want to share. Skill 1. Summon Guardian Knight. Skill 2. Pupil of God. Skill 3. Light of Healing. The prerequisite for the triggering of shared skills is that the opponent must be alive. When the shared object dies, the skill connection will also become invalid. System, can I choose all of them? Chen Mu asked for confirmation. Can, as expected of you. Chen Mu really loves this system more and more. This is called hanging up. I want all your skills. Forced sharing, Chen Mu excitedly said. Compulsory sharing succeeded. Congratulations to the host for obtaining the skill Summon Guardian Knight. Compulsory sharing succeeded. Congratulations to the host for obtaining the skill God's Eye. Compulsory sharing succeeded. Congratulations to the host for obtaining the Light of Healing. There is still a difference between this acquired skill and the previous acquired skill. Because it is a temporary skill, it is not included in the triggering conditions of the SSS activation second upgrade. Chen Mu didn't complain, and felt that this was enough. Follow the opponent's path, let the opponent have no way to go, and always split 50-50. As long as you are willing, all living beings are equal. This is still based on the premise that Shenmue only uses the opponent's skills. You must know that he has hundreds of other SSS level skills. Play, hehe. Shenmue wants to see how the female angel plays with herself after this. A huge black portal opened behind him, and there were red lightning in it. Perhaps for easy identification, it is very different from the sacred style of the Angel Knight. The Angel Knights summoned by Shenmue are all black, like shadow undead, with terrifying red eyes shining under the helmet window. Like flames, silk and satin floated out. Next, thousands of Angel Knights hedge against each other. The sound of weapons hitting was very pleasant. Shenmue is at the bottom, and the female angel is at the top. It seemed that Shenmue realized that doing so would be of no use. The female angel's closed eyes began to move. Open slowly, beautiful eyes in the true sense. Among them, the golden light is brilliant, and there are thousands of ways. It is not an exaggeration to call it a work of art. The golden eyelashes, coupled with the divine eyes, are simply amazing. No wonder the name of the skill is called the Eye of God. Shenmue also chose to close his eyes, triggering the skill god's pupil. The radiance of sacred collided with the death light of the underworld. In terms of skill itself, the two sides are evenly matched. But Shenmue is not satisfied with being even with the female angel. Trigger combos. Congratulations to the host for triggering the Pupil of God combo X100. The female angel can barely resist the power of one or two combos. This time more times, the advantages and disadvantages can be seen at a glance. The death light of Shenmue's the underworld shot straight into the female angel's pupils, petrifying them, turning them gray and losing their brilliance. The female angel covered her eyes with her hands, and let out a scream that humans could not make. Very sad and heart-wrenching. The ceiling, as well as the ground, are trembling. Miria staggered and supported the heavy cannon with her hands to avoid falling. Look at the health bar. Shenmue remembered correctly, it was originally 1088 layers of blood, and now there are 545 layers left. There is only one more floor from the killing line. The female angel lost her former brilliance and holiness, covered her bleeding eyes with one hand, and waved her hand wildly in the air with the other. Boom, boom, boom. The wings suddenly ignited spontaneously, stopped waving, and quickly fell from the sky. Shenmue, who was about to continue to attack and let the angel's blood volume drop to the 544th floor killing line, was somewhat confused when he saw this scene. The movement of the hands stopped, and the eyes looked down. I saw that the female angel had already fallen to the ground, and the flames on both wings reached the root of her wings. However, the flame did not burn the wings, but changed the color of the white wings to pure black. The long golden hair turned into silvery white, and the translucent white gauze on her legs turned into black gauze. Even a smoky eye. From Shenmue's point of view, she can no longer be called an angel, but a little sister. A fallen angel. Shenmue wasn't sure, but clearly remember that there are only 3 skills in the mandatory shared directory. It seems that this 4th blackened skill will only appear when certain conditions are met. This kind of setting is not uncommon in games. Woo! The black angel suddenly raised his head, bared his teeth, and stared at Shenmue with a ferocious expression. The pupils turned blood red, and they looked like 2 different people from before. It is indeed not an exaggeration to describe it as a fallen angel. Wave the 6 wings and soar into the sky again. Still undiminished arrogance, above Shenmue. Boom! The 6 wings moved back to the limit, and immediately swung at Shenmue. Whoosh! Shish! In the next second, countless black feathers shot down like arrows, straight and in unison, towards Shenmue quickly. For a time, overwhelming. Chapter 91. Facing the rain of black feathered arrows that was so dense that even a fly could not easily pass through, Shenmue was fearless, with a calm face, and walked through the air. It's like climbing up the steps step by step, walking towards the fallen angel. The rain of arrows, as if they had eyes, automatically avoided Shenmue, leaving no wound on him. Call out, call out, call out, boom, boom, boom. All fell on the ground, smashing a deep pit, and the smoke and dust kept floating up, like a mushroom cloud after the explosion. Growing stronger and stronger. Seeing this scene, Chen Mu could clearly feel that the fallen angel's fighting spirit and hostility were far less intense than before. As she got closer to her, she began to look left and right, as if trying to find a way to escape the church. As an angel, facing the enemy, how can you think of fleeing from the church? By the time she could react, Chen Mu had already come to her. The fallen angel at this moment seemed so innocent. Chen Mu didn't care so much. He raised his arm, and the moment the fallen angel turned his face to own. Blast out tens of thousands of power attributes, and then trigger the SSS level 10,000 times the power. Boom. Explosion. Slap. Pat. A lot of blood spattered on Chen Mu's face. The fallen angel who lost his head fell straight to the ground. The black all over faded, turned back to white and gold, and then turned into dazzling stardust. Successfully killed Seraphim. Congratulations to the host for obtaining the customs clearance treasure chest, killing point plus 1500. Sending so many killing points at once, Chen Mu didn't even know how to use them. Taking advantage of the stardust floating in front of him, it has not completely disappeared. Extract now. Call. Extracting. Extraction successful. Congratulations to the host for obtaining the skill Summon Guardian Knight. Light of Healing, Magic Power plus 250, Speed plus 100, Magic Defense plus 100. Ha, you actually extracted 2 skills. This surprised Chen Mu, but he didn't expect it. The skill of endless extraction is really awesome. Congratulations to the host for obtaining the skill Summon Guardian Knight. Automatically upgrade to SSS level Summon Guardian Knight. After being acquired by the player, the existing restrictions have all been broken, no limit. No consumption. There is no limit to the number of summons, as many as you want to summon, and as many as you want. This skill does not conflict with the SSS level Knight Summoning Knight. Guardian Knights refer to those angel knights who have the ability to fly and have powerful magic attack effects. In other words, Chen Mu mastered the Ground Knight and the Air Knight at the same time. Now only the Knights of the Sea are needed to gather the sea, land and air. Congratulations to the host for obtaining the skill Healing Light. Automatically upgrade to SSS level and automatically heal. Active skills become passive skills, no need to cast spells, and heal on their own. Next is the main event. Calling. Successful summoning. Congratulations to the host for getting a seraph. After being summoned from the world of shadows, Chen Mu discovered that the seraph had not been obviously undead, and its appearance was the same as before. Laughing at himself, did you take care of my eyes? Indeed, it is best for the seraph to remain as it is. If it is undead, it can definitely be called the scene of a car accident. Like Blacken, she also has the form of a fallen angel. How can Chen Mu not love such a caring system? I didn't appreciate it too much. After solving the remaining few floors of the trial tower, there is plenty of time. Chen Mu didn't stop, and decided to go to the 14th floor. Unlike others, he has no fear in his heart, only anticipation. Looking forward to it. Looking forward to what kind of strong opponents you can meet on the next level, and then defeat them and turn them into your own troops. Step through the portal with Miria. Come to the 14th floor. The environment has completely changed once again. Not a pier, no sea in sight. No fog, no churches. At a glance, it is an endless desert. The wind and sand rolled and rustled in my ears. In front of him, among hundreds of meters of sand and dust, he could vaguely see a figure slowly walking out of it and approaching. Compared with the previous monster bosses, its size is closer to that of a human. About 1.9 meters. However, judging from the outline of the head, it is definitely not a human being. How could it be possible for a person to have a pair of inwardly curving horns? That's something that only the devil can grow. In TV dramas, whether a monster is powerful or not depends on whether it can cultivate a human form. Chen Mu felt that the monster should be the same. This monster with a human form should be stronger. Similar to that seraph. Boom. Drumming. Chen Mu was wondering. Crisis sensing triggered. Pushing Miria away, he moved a step, turned his body sideways, and saw clearly that a golden thunder spear flew in front of him, almost close to his eyes. Crackling, sparkling tiny electric lines. It flew hundreds of meters away in an instant, and the speed was very fast. How is it? Are you okay? Chen Mu asked about Milia's situation. It's okay, thank you, Master, for your concern. Miria stood up from the ground, patted the yellow sand on her buttocks with both hands, and shook her head. After confirming that Milia was fine, Chen Mu turned his gaze back to the devil. So those two round things hanging around the waist are big drums. Follow this line to continue to associate. If Chen Mu guessed correctly, the two thick sticks in his hand, which are just enough to hold a fist, are probably drum sticks. Boom, 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 boom. Devil made another move. This time, he beat a dozen drums. The number of long spears was just right. A dozen spears were fired together, and they came. With the lesson learned from last time, this time, Miria reacted quickly and blocked the golden thunder spear with her own gun. The rest of the dozen handles were directed towards Chen Mu. Obviously, Devil also knew that of the two, Chen Mu was stronger and deserved priority. Facing the thundering spear in front of him, Chen Mu slowly raised his arms and pointed his palms at it. With an invisible big net, all the spears are firmly bound in it. 5-finger half grip for an instant, tighten up. The thunder and lightning lost the shape of the gun, merged into one, and were gradually compressed. Turn into a ball of lightning. Chen Mu opened his 5 fingers again and pushed them out. Boom. The lightning ball was like a cannonball. No, it should be said to be faster than a cannonball, blasting towards the devil who was hiding in the dust and was unwilling to show his head. Boom, boom. Devil raised his hands, smashed down the drumsticks, and at the same time beat the two big drums hanging on his waist. In the next second, you can feel the movement of the yellow sand under your feet. Then, a sand wall more than 10 meters high rose up out of thin air without warning. Block that lightning ball for Devil. Boom, boom. The wind and waves brought up by the thunder and lightning light sphere dispersed, washing away the sand and dust that enveloped Devil, thus exposing its true self. After reading it, Chen Mu became even more convinced that this guy is not human. Proper Devil. It is true that there are two big drums hanging on the waist. What grows on the head is indeed a horn. The black and gold long stick in his hand is exactly the drumstick. This drumstick is quite fancy, with gold patterns on both ends, and it looks like a divine bird. At the position of the bird's eye, a golden electric pattern fell. A bandage is wrapped around one hand, and a black and gold wristband is worn on the other, corresponding to the color of the drumstick. His feet were bare, but he was wearing trousers and a blue-black long skirt with a tattered hem. There is a red silk tied around the waist, which crosses in the center and hangs down at both ends. The upper body is bare, the body fat rate is terribly low, and the muscles look as hard as stone. On the thick arms, there are colorful patterns tattooed. Looking at the head, it looks like an oriental dragon, mainly red. Around the neck is a ring of large yellow rosary beads. If you want to say the most inhuman part of your body, it is definitely the face. Contrary to the skin on the upper body, it is cinnabar-colored and incredibly red. The pupils of the eyes are large black, the eyeballs are red and white and then black, and they are very small. With the small eyes, they look very aggressive. The eyebrows are flying like a mantra, white. It is the same color as the beard and the mid-length hair floating behind the head. Because of the protruding fangs, it is impossible to close its mouth. The upper tusks are down to the chin. The lower tusks are up, near the outer corners of the eyes. The purple tongue has been drooping outside, full of sarcasm. Behind the red ears, there is actually a pair of black ears shaped like sheep's ears, with golden outer edges. Sharper and more warped than sheep's ears. One ear, longer than the face. The devil horns on the top of the head are twice as long, and the mane color is also black, with gold as a match. And his drumhead, which is used as a weapon, is composed of 3 Tai Chi black feather patterns, and the background color is sheepskin color. At present, Chen Mu knows the skills he has mastered, such as controlling thunder as a gun and controlling sand as a wall. It's all triggered by beating the big drum. Since the name is reggae, it means that his main attack method should be lightning. Thunder and lightning. Chen Mu was suddenly very interested, wondering who would be more powerful than the SSS level Thunder and Lightning Dharma King. Chen Mu's whole body turned into lightning, and he could no longer see the slightest bit of flesh color. The eyes are even more bursting with thunder. Behind him, the thunder ring is connected in series with a large thunder ring. Raising his arm, he created hundreds of lightning spears out of thin air, and the air trembled in a small area. It is like a stone falling into the calm water, causing ripples. Reggae still lolled his tongue with a mocking expression. It seems that Chen Mu's attack, to put in one's eyes, was not taken at all. With both feet open, tie up the horse stance. Raise your hands high, and hold the center of the drumstick with 5 fingers, the front position. Boom, boom, boom. Immediately, he shook his head frantically, and beat the Tai Chi black fish drum at a frantic high frequency. Soon, hundreds of golden thunder spears were transformed, ready to confront Chen Mu head-on to see whose power is stronger. Boom. The drumsticks fell at the same time, and finally there was a sound. Chen Mu pushed his arm forward. The lightning guns of both sides shot out almost at the same time, like arrows leaving the string. Thunder and lightning collide. Gun tip wrestling with gun tip. Inch was crushed and disappeared. In the end it was a draw. Reggae obviously didn't want to see this kind of scene, and flew into a rage. Raise your hands high and put the drumsticks behind your back. Then the big hand came down and slapped the edge of the big drum. Point your hands outward. 2 drums turn into 5 drums. 2 strands are located on the reggae waist, 2 drums are located on the shoulders of the ribs, and 1 drum is located on the top of the reggae head. Reggae turned around with a jump. Turn your back to Chen Mu and face Wugu. Raise your hands again, hold the drumstick behind your shoulders, and pull it out. He looked sideways and smiled mockingly. Immediately, the 5 drums were sounded quickly and rhythmically. Chen Mu actually saw that the yellow sand flowed backwards, like waves rolled up tens of meters high, and within it, lightning flashed. Using yellow sand as a medium to trigger thunderstorms, Chen Mu sees through the idea of reggae. If you really want to be involved in this yellow sand, coupled with the effect of lightning, I am afraid it will be difficult to get out. Tell Miria to step back and keep her distance. Chen Mu raised his arms horizontally. It was just a large-scale lightning strike, who wouldn't? Moreover, Chen Mu's thunder wave does not need to be as troublesome as reggae, and it needs to use yellow sand as a medium. A large swath of dark clouds gathered overhead, and visibility suddenly dropped a bit. Click, click, click. Thunder pillars descended one after another, close to each other. The distance between them was no more than a palm's width. Connect the sky and the earth to form a thunder wall, covering hundreds of meters wide. Even Chen Mu looked very small under that. On the other side, the thunder wave rolled higher and higher. Although it looked terrifying, it was far less visually effective than the thunder wall. Neither side is convinced. The thunder wall moves. Thunder tide suddenly suppressed. Come rushing. The thunder wall easily defeated the thunder tide, transforming and absorbing all the thunder power contained in it. After the yellow sand lost its support, it collapsed instantly and lost its vitality. But the power of the thunder wave is far more than that. Just like the waves of the sea, one wave after another beats over, surging. Boom, boom, boom. The sound of reggae drums has never stopped from the beginning to now. But even so, it is still the mantis arm blocking the car. After confirming that reggae entered the expected range and could not escape, Chen Mu raised his hand to operate remotely, and the thunder wall began to fold. Surround the reggae from all sides. Don't forget to cap. Boom, boom, boom. No matter how much the reggae strike, as long as a little lightning is born, it will be drawn and absorbed immediately. This made reggae so angry that he jumped on his feet. Chen Mu just thought for a second that Lei Guiwu could do something. In the next second, reggae's body skyrocketed. 5 drums in 2. Drumsticks are smashed in from the side. This is not rushing to the doctor in a hurry, but it can indeed be used in that way. The combination of drumsticks and drums is like a fan. Boom, boom. The body of a giant waved heavily. Thousands of feet of thunder, also connecting the sky and the earth, fighting against the thunder cage. The thunder was deafening, and the earth shook and the mountains shook. After seeing a gap, reggae immediately shrunk his body and flew out of it. Chen Mu saw that expression of ridiculing others all the time, and wanted to slap him very much. Reggae grasped the drumstick tightly with both hands, and threw out 2 Tai Chi black fish drums. Divide into 5 again, circle around Chen Mu, and keep turning. The vertical state, coupled with the fast-turning wind, was struck. The series of thunder and lightning is like a cheap version of the thunder cage, trying to lock and restrict Chen Mu's actions. Look for another chance to kill him. Chen Mu must admit that this guy has ideas, but unfortunately, his strength is not enough, he is too weak. Not going to continue playing with him. Disappear suddenly. Startled Reggae. When he reacted again, he realized that Shenmue had turned into a god of thunder, standing on top of a large thunder cloud. The golden light is dazzling, dare to compete with the sun and the moon. Even if it was a dark cloud, it was unavoidable that it was illuminated by the golden thunder and lost its original color. Even if Reggae transforms into a giant form, he is still no match for Shenmue, who is as thick as a finger. Shenmue bent down, raised his hand, clenched his fist lightly, and stretched out a single index finger. Boom, boom, boom. That finger seemed to come from outside the sky, piercing through the air, carrying a strong fire light and thunder light, pressing down on the Reggae. Facing such an attack, Reggae didn't want to be caught without a fight, and decided to fight to the death. The 5 drums spread out flat and wrapped around the waist. Crackling. Zzz. Holding the drumsticks in both hands, the big drum automatically rotates in circles, each stick is struck exactly once, the speed is getting faster and faster, and the thunder and lightning are getting thicker and thicker. A moment later, a golden thunder giant that was very similar to Reggae appeared, raising both hands, wanting to catch Shenmue's pressured giant fingers. It is said to be a giant, but in fact, it is not as thick as Shenmue's little arm at this time. Boom. Pressing down with one finger, only the moment of contact, not even a second, the body was quickly shattered. From head to toe, in the blink of an eye. Pulling out his finger, a hole was made in the ground, and quicksand kept gathering. Shenmue waved his hand again, and his giant hand grabbed Reggae. Reggae desperately resisted and wanted to struggle. Shenmue squeezed his 5 fingers hard, and hundreds of thousands of lightning needles pierced into Reggae's body at the same time. Let go again. The Reggae has turned into coke, black dust, falling with the wind. Successfully killed Wugu Reggae. Congratulations to the host for obtaining the customs clearance treasure chest, killing point plus 1500. Extracting. Extraction successful. Congratulations to the host for obtaining the skill Thunder Drum. Magic power plus 200, magic defense plus 100, power attribute plus 100. Congratulations to the host for obtaining the skill Thunder Drum, which will automatically upgrade to SSS level Thunder Drum. Calling. Successful summoning. Congratulations to the host for getting 5 drums of Reggae. Shenmue personally thinks that the 5 drum Reggae are more oppressive after they are transformed into spirits. The main color of the whole body becomes black and white, and the red face becomes black face. Senbai with a mouth full of fangs. Without staying too long, Shenmue opened the portal to the 15th floor. I want to get rid of the remaining floors of the trial tower before the sleepiness comes. Although energy drinks can be used to drive away drowsiness, Shenmue feels that it is unnecessary and can sleep soundly. It is a very happy thing for him now to sleep until he wakes up naturally. Mentally, it will also be very satisfying. You have to pay attention to the combination of work and rest. There is no need to make yourself like a killing machine, day and night. Come to the 15th floor with Miria. The style here is antique, and at a glance, it is all low wooden black tile buildings, the highest of which does not exceed 2 floors. Ancient streets. Apart from those monsters, Shenmue always felt like he was traveling, and he had seen many sights along the way. The unique collision of armor, and the sound of heavy footsteps came from behind. Shenmue and Miria turned around to look at the same time. Warrior. And it's a samurai dressed in Sakura style. Wearing a thick, in Shenmue's view, even a bit gaudy headgear. Right above the hat is a golden-faced black-horned imp. Exploding, thick white hair blowing back in the wind. Can't see the face clearly, wearing a red ghost mask. This grinning expression is not inferior to the 5 drum Reggae on the next level. The left chest and arm are exposed without any protection. The green arm, plus the red face and dark green body with countless little ghost tattoos, let people know at a glance that it is definitely not a kind person. There are 2 samurai swords pinned to his waist, one small and the other large. The small katana sword is not even half the size. In terms of body size, it was close to 2 meters, and looked very burly. Is there only one? Shenmue cast his magic pupils and scanned the surroundings. Apart from himself and Miria, there was really only this red-faced warrior. When approaching to a range of 50 or 60 meters, the red-faced warrior suddenly stopped. Raising the right hand wearing the armor, the left hand grasps the scabbard of the large samurai sword, and the right hand holds the hilt. Wow! Slowly draw the sword. Green, thick fog with fluorescent effect burst out from it. Like a wave, it rolls up behind its back. It is not difficult to find that there are evil ghosts outlined in light green, green, and dark green. 3 eyes, pointed nose, skull. There are dozens of kinds that Shenmue can see at a glance. The red-faced samurai holds a katana with both hands, straight in front of him, and holds it high above his head. Green light soared into the sky. With one slash, the space is cut off. A door appears. Countless evil spirits flew out of it, swarming towards Shenmue. Summon the undead. Shenmue thinks that it should be called a ghost. It's not just red-faced warriors who can be summoned. Shenmue wanted to see if the Angel Knight could purify these goblins. Behind them, light doors opened one after another, and Angel Knights waving their wings stood in the air with weapons in their hands. Looking down at the ghost with a ferocious face that came with the thick fog, wishing to tear and chew Shenmue to pieces. Just waiting for Shenmue's order. All the Angel Knights raised their big swords, huge shields, and long spears one after another, rushed forward. Not to mention, the Angel Knight's own purification attack has an unimaginable effect on these mountain spirits and ghosts. Knife spike, cut off, rip, finally, like smoke dissipated. Arrow headshot, instant shrinkage. Seeing this, the red-faced samurai opened a bigger ghost gate, releasing even bigger, terrifying ghosts, and staged a night walk of ghosts, filling the entire street. The faint green light, replacing the darkness, is like a scene of the underworld, full of low growls, shrill, sharp wailing, which makes people get goosebumps. Shenmue restricted the conditions, summoned 300 angel archers, stood in the air, formed a circle, and surrounded this area, as well as the red-faced warrior and the ghosts he summoned. Ready to execute the siege. The actions are consistent, and the light arrow is wound. Shenmue dropped his arms, let go. Shish. Shish. Hundreds of arrows fell like rain. They smashed their heads and covered their faces, hitting the ghosts and destroying their bodies. Because the arrows are blessed with angels and have a purification effect, making them unable to heal the body. Large swaths dissipated. The rain of arrows didn't stop for a moment, until the last ghost was pierced into a sieve, turned into a wisp of green smoke, and drifted away. This Angel Knight is much easier to use than Shenmue imagined. If it were instead to summon ordinary Guardian Iron Cavalry, even if it could cause damage to those ghosts, after a single cut, the opponent would be able to heal in the next second, which was not very effective. If the strength of the red-faced warrior is just like this, Shenmue is quite disappointed. Or, Angel Knight is too strong. It just happened to restrain his ability. He saw that hundreds of evil spirits he had summoned were all wiped out by the rain of arrows. The red-faced samurai did not show obvious panic, and remained very calm. Holding the samurai sword high with both hands, this time, he did not cut it down. Boom! The green light soared into the sky, like a flame burning. It's getting more and more violent. In the end, it turned into a huge towering ghost hand. On this ghost hand, there are countless densely packed eyes of different sizes. And in the palm, that eye is ridiculously big. All eyeballs are moving at different angles at the same time. Some go up, some go left, some go right, some go down. There are no rules. It looks so weird. Boom. The green hand was astonishingly big, and he pressed it down with one palm. Cover the entire range of the sky that can be seen at a glance. In contrast, the Angel Knight appeared to be only the size of a projectile. Seeing the situation, Shenmue suppressed the discomfort in his heart and ordered all the archers to shoot arrows at those eyes. The Angel Knight did the same, pulling the air with his fingers, and the long golden arrow formed automatically. Aim, lock, let go. One step in place, smooth flow. Call out, call out, call out, shish. An off-string arrow is as powerful as a broken bamboo. Shoot towards that big hand. Unexpectedly, the arrow was just about to hit those eyes. The blue and white eyes suddenly split from the middle, turning into a mouthful of sharp teeth, which swallowed hundreds of arrows. The back of the hand split open, allowing the arrow of light to pass through, without touching a single point during the period. Can it still be like this? Shenmue smiled. Angel Knight also wanted to string up his arrows and launch a second round of offensive. Boom! The green hand accelerated the pressing speed, swept across, and grasped all the angels together with the house, and squeezed the 5 fingers tightly. In the palm, the huge mouth of the abyss, densely packed like eyes but not eyes, began to nibble on the angel knight. In the end, the body shattered and turned into stardust, spilling out from between the fingers. Not satisfied with this, the red-faced samurai held the katana connected to the green hand and chopped it down with one blow. The green hands clenched into fists slammed down towards Shenmue at the same time. It is not difficult to see that the red-faced warrior really wants Shenmue to die. But it is not so easy to kill Shenmue. The holy light blooms, and the light illuminates the world. The green hand was shrouded in holy light, and it was purified immediately. And standing in front of Shenmue, releasing the holy light, was the seraph. Seeing this scene, Shenmue became even more convinced that the god of creation arranged the wrong layers for the red-faced warrior and the seraph. He chose to send cupped hands, the means of restraining the red-faced warrior's skills, to himself. If the red-faced warrior had appeared in front of him, he wouldn't have been suppressed so badly that he was powerless to fight back. Kill him, Shenmue ordered the seraph. The seraphim soared into the sky, and when its wings danced, many Baiyu wrapped in brilliant starlight fell down. Like a ginseng fruit, it disappeared instantly when it hit the ground and could not be found. Shenmue couldn't understand why the seraphim flew into the air when it could kill the red-faced warrior directly. The habit of liking to be above all things in life, brought after death. In addition, there seems to be no other more reasonable explanation. Shenmue doesn't mind the seraphim doing all these bells and whistles, as long as she successfully completes the task he entrusted to her. Shenmue stared at the seraph, and saw that she seemed to want to use the flying feather move that the fallen angel used to deal with him before. He lowered his gaze again and glanced at the red-faced warrior. He actually put the knife back into the scabbard. He raised his hand and took off the red face. Because of the lowered head and the brim of the hat, Shenmue couldn't see clearly what he looked like. Immediately, as if a seal had been released, a 100-meter warrior with 3 heads and 6 arms and a dark green body appeared in front of Shenmue. The samurai armor and the 2 knives he wore when he was still a human were shriveled and scattered on the ground like a balloon without gas support. With 6 arms and 6 hands, grasping the hilt of the sword, he draws out 6 samurai swords. With a ferocious face, the samurai took big strides and launched a silent charge at the seraph. Boom! The seraphim waved its 6 wings forward at the same time. Whoosh! Shish! The dense golden feathers, like a torrential rain, slanted on the samurai. The samurai swung 6 katana swords quickly, trying to block the feathered arrows. However, there are too many of them, and the power of this arrow is many times stronger than that of the angel knight. Even if the samurai barely blocked it, looking at the samurai sword, the blade is already covered with gaps that cannot be healed. The samurai are still on the side of being crushed, and the situation has not changed. If this continues, the samurai will be shot to death by the feathered arrow sooner or later. Whether the samurai is willing to say otherwise. Seraph was obviously not satisfied with continuing to waste time like this. Decided to activate the skill god's pupil, and get rid of the big guy in front of him at once. The samurai managed to withstand a round of arrow rain, and his body was covered with cuts and bruises. I thought there was a chance to fight back, but unexpectedly, the angel opened his eyes, and the holy light was like a pillar, not giving him a chance to react at all, and shattered the giant's body. This effect is similar to exhaling a mouthful of smoke, and then waving it with the hand, it dissipates quickly. The pupil of God and the eye of seeing through have the same effect, and can discover the weakness of the other party. Seraphim, this strike is to kill the samurai, go. The fingers were released, 6 samurai swords fell to the ground, and the body fell backwards. Before they touched the ground, they shattered into dark green dust and drifted into the distance. All that was left was a mess and devastation. Successfully killed the ghost warrior. Congratulations to the host for getting the customs clearance package, killing point plus 1800. Afterwards, Shenmue came to the samurai armor and 2 samurai swords left by the ghost samurai in an instant. Extracting. Extraction successful. Congratulations to the host for acquiring the skill 100 ghosts at night. Skill killing deification. Magic power plus 250, strength attribute plus 200, speed attribute plus 100. Congratulations to the host for acquiring the skill 100 ghosts night walk, automatically upgraded to SSS level 100 ghosts night walk. Congratulations to the host for obtaining the skill killing deification, which will automatically upgrade to SSS level killing deification. Another 2 skills. Awesome. Calling. Successful summoning. Congratulations to the host for obtaining the ghost suppressing warrior. The army of undead has added another powerful general. Chenmu is in a good mood at this moment. In his opinion, this Tower of Trials is a proper treasure burial place. The 2 samurai swords and samurai armor, Chenmu raised his hand and put them into the system backpack. Anyway, it is the equipment worn by the guarding boss. No matter how weak it is, it shouldn't be so weak, right? If it doesn't work, you can also use skills to strengthen it. The other side. World Chat Channel. Chenmu passed the news of the 15th floor of the Tower of Trials, and once again passed the scrolling banner to inform all players. Caused heated discussions. Although it is not the first time to discuss like this, they still enjoy it. Is this guy still a person? How long has it been? We have reached the 15th floor. Correct, it is the 15th floor of the Raiders, and it will go up to the 16th floor. Now the second place has just passed the 10th floor, and the third place can be said to have fallen off a cliff, only the 4th floor. No way, this Tower of Trials is really not a place for people to go. The monster boss inside, and the zombie monsters outside are no different from kindergarten babies when compared with humans. What's the background of that Chenlu? It sounds like a woman, but she can pass the 10th floor. I heard people say that she admitted that she could barely pass the 2nd floor with her own strength, and that someone helped her form a team for the next 8 floors. Who is so capable? Nonsense. Besides Chenmu, who else do you think can have such a great ability? Is that guy still engaged in power leveling? How much? I want to hire him. Don't think about it, there must be a relationship between them, so they will help. Why are you just joining in the fun? What if he is a peerless beauty? Ha ha ha, I have a hunch that he will continue to clear the level. Not necessarily. You didn't notice that the higher you go, the longer the customs clearance time. Maybe, he's almost at his limit. I saw someone say that. Immediately there was a voice of rebuttal. What you said, the longer the customs clearance time, means that on the basis of a few minutes to clear the level, add more than 10 seconds or half a minute. Ha ha ha, I've never been to the Tower of Trials, I don't know what it means to clear the 1st floor in a few minutes, especially if it's more than a dozen floors. I'm angry when I say it. Our guild formed a team of more than 300 people. After fighting for a day, we lost more than 1/3 of the floor before we finally won the 1st floor. In the past few minutes, the 1st floor is definitely not open. Package test player Real Hammer. That person was too scared to speak by a group of people with the facts. Hey, there is a price to pay. His words undoubtedly did not hurt those who spent a lot of money to break through the level. I think he is deliberately rubbing salt in his wounds. If Chenmu cleared the 1st floor of the Tower of Trials in a few minutes, and he was almost at the limit, then what was he? Don't hate him. Sorry, they don't have such a good temper, they are used to this kind of keyboard man. I don't know where he is, if I know, I have to force him to enter the Tower of Trials to die. Go back to Chenmu's side. At this time, he had reached the 16th floor of the Tower of Trials. Milia felt that she couldn't help much, and she didn't want to drag Chenmu's hind legs, so she consciously was put into the system backpack. So as not to get in the way, slow down the speed of Chenmu's strategy, thus affecting sleep. This understanding, in Chenmu's mind, has a lot of points. As she wished, put it in the system backpack. Hiss. Looking around, the environment here is definitely the best since entering the Tower of Trials. No. At first glance, the mountains are verdant, and Chenmu is standing on the top of a mountain, overlooking the beautiful scenery below. The gray mountain wall, combined with the dense green forest, combined with the blue sky and white sun above the head, makes people feel good. Occasionally, I can still hear the call of an eagle. Looking up, several goshawks were hovering hundreds of meters above their heads. However, Chenmu didn't think that they were the bosses of the 16-story trial tower. If it was true, Chenmu could easily crush it to death with one hand. Strange, why didn't I see the gatekeeper boss? The mountain is not high enough to be covered in fog, everything is visible to the naked eye. But Chenmu just didn't see the guard boss. Is there a bug? Chenmu smiled lightly. Suddenly, the earth shook and the mountains shook. Chen Mu separated his feet a little and stabilized his footplate. Then, with both eyes, I could see clearly that a mountain rose from the ground, rising in height. It rose tens of meters in one go. Large pieces of mountain rocks, together with pieces of trees, shattered from above, peeled off, and fell to the ground. Reveal its true colors. A faucet. No, there are no horns, so it should belong to snakes. Black head and white belly, perhaps because of sleeping for too long, the body is covered with a lot of moss. Chen Mu roughly counted, there are 7 snake heads. Only the tongue and most of the snake's body protruded and gathered into a large bunch. As for how many are buried in the ground, it is unknown. The body exposed to the air alone is 500 or 600 meters long. The goshawk, which was still far away before, suddenly seemed a lot closer in comparison, only reaching half the height of the Hydra. However, the Hydra wasn't interested in the goshawk, perhaps because it wasn't enough to get between its teeth. One of the snakes lowered its head and slowly landed in front of Chen Mu. Near, very near. It was so close that Chen Mu could clearly feel the breath of the snake hitting his whole body. That pair of red pupils, like a mirror, vaguely reflected Chen Mu's figure. Immediately, without saying a word, he opened his mouth directly, and the huge mouth of the abyss turned towards him. Just that mouth, it feels like it is as high as the mountain. Is this going to be eaten together with me and the mountain? Chen Mu laughed at himself. Chen Mu raised his foot. Boom, the wind exploded. A huge, epic-level octopus tentacles rose from the ground, appeared out of thin air, wrapped around its tongue, and tightened. Forcibly told the giant snake to shut its mouth. When there was still a short distance away from Chen Mu, he suddenly pulled back and threw the snake's head away. Boom, boom, hit the ground in the opposite direction heavily. Destroy large tracts of forest. This octopus tentacles are really suitable for dealing with such giant creatures. Chen Mu smiled triumphantly. The other 6 snake heads were thus exposed, and they all bent down and attacked Chen Mu. Fortunately, Chen Mu is not bad for tentacles at all. After all, this skill is called infinite summoning tentacles. 6 tentacles emerged out of thin air, tightly wrapping around the snake's head. Seeing this, the giant snake also used the powerful twisting force of its body to start twisting its tentacles. It looks evenly matched, as if no one can do anything to anyone. But Chen Mu still has an absolute advantage. The word infinite, are you kidding me? Another step up. Hundreds of tentacles broke through the ground, and more than a dozen tentacles wrapped around the snake's body at the same time, tightened, and tore in different directions. Boom, 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 poochie, poochie, puff. The body was severely squeezed, and the snake's skin couldn't bear the pressure, it exploded, and flesh and blood spewed out from it. In the sky, it rained blood. Even the snake eyes were squeezed out abruptly, shot out, and rolled down hundreds of meters away. Chen Mu felt that it was time to deal with this big guy. He already felt a little sleepy. Summon thousands of octopus tentacles that twist together to form a shrouding the heavens giant tentacles. The densely packed octopus suckers, compared to the one summoned by the ghost warrior before, the eyes on the giant hand are better, but not worse. Fortunately, Chen Mu is not obsessive-compulsive disorder, otherwise he would cause great mental harm to himself. The huge tentacles encircled the body of the Hydra and tightened it. Immediately, violently, instantly exert force. Rumble, rumble, rumbling. The earth vibrated even more than when the Hydra appeared on the stage before. The ground was clearly visible, with cracks tens of meters wide spreading like spider webs. Boom. Then, with the force of pulling the green onions on the dry land, the snake tail, which was as fat as a mealworm, forcibly buried the 7-headed snake in the ground, forcibly pulled out. Chen Mu raised his hand and weaved a large net with the air jigsaw. After weaving is finished, push it out. Together with the octopus tentacles and the 7-headed snake, they were cut into countless uniformly sized corpses. Boom, 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 accompanied by a loud bang, it hit the ground, setting off smoke and dust. Forcibly disintegrated, successfully killed the 7-headed rock snake. Congratulations to the host for getting the customs clearance package +1. Kill point +1900. Perhaps it was because he had acquired too many boss skills, but Chen Mu really didn't realize that this 7-headed rock snake had the strength to meet 1900 killing points. In his eyes, it is no different from a larger zombie monster, and the slaughter can be completed with a little effort. Extracting. Extraction successful. Congratulations to the host for obtaining the petrification skill. Strength attribute plus 300, defense attribute plus 200. So, they have skills. Chen Mu laughed. Hindsight. It's really sad to think about it and die without using this skill. Congratulations to the host for obtaining the petrification skill, which automatically upgrades to SSS level petrification. After checking the detailed introduction of this skill, Chen Mu couldn't help thinking of a snake-haired monster named Medusa in the West. Just look into its eyes and it will turn to stone. The same is true for the petrification of eyes. As long as you look at each other, ignore all defensive skills, ignore levels, ignore everything, and directly turn it into a stone statue. If the stone statue is broken, life will be completely terminated. If Chen Mu wants to, he only needs to look at each other again, and he can choose to release the petrification state. Calling. Successful summoning. Congratulations to the host for obtaining the seven-headed rock snake. Chen Mu's undead army has added another strong general. Naturally, the corpses were not wasted, and they were all canned with one click. Wouldn't it be good to sell it to those players for more valuable equipment? When more and more people need canned food, there will be more and more people who support Own. He cannot die. If he dies, more people will die. On the other hand, the news about Chen Mu's clearance of the 16th floor once again caused a sensation in the chat channels of the whole world. This guy is really an out-and-out monster, and he actually cleared the level again. Who said just now that he has reached his limit? How about walking 2 steps if you are not sick? A level is cleared in a few minutes, and it is not affected by the number of layers. I am suddenly a little curious, is it true that the monsters are actually weaker as they go higher up? I can tell you with 100% that I have participated in the second floor boss crusade. It is absolutely impossible. The monsters on the second floor can hit the first floor. Our president, plus 2 vice presidents with S-level skills, a total of 3 SSS levels, plus 200 guild members, took a full 7 hours to clear the second floor, with countless casualties, one of them vice president, and lost an arm because of it. Is the second floor really that scary? Then the 16th floor. During the discussion, Chen Mu seemed to have become the existence closest to God in everyone's mind. Speaking of which, why are so many people teaming up to brush the Tower of Trials recently? There are so many reward posts in the World Trading Center. Didn't you read the new instructions? New explanation. What's new? After clearing the Tower of Trials, you can meet God and make a wish to God. Any wish can be fulfilled as long as it does not cross the boundary. I rely on it. Don't tell me earlier, I'll go to form a team right away. Welcome to the 007 Crusade Squad. We plan to form a team of 3,000 people, and there are still 200 left, regardless of level. Hehe, low-level ones will definitely be treated as cannon fodder. I have a hunch that Chen Mu will definitely be the first person to see God. It's not just you, everyone thinks that way. Is it possible that he has met once? Conspiracy theories abound. As the rightful master, Chen Mu is out of sight and out of mind. Spend a little time to make all the 7-headed rock snake corpses into cans and store them in the system backpack. Because the body is too large, so the time will be longer. There is no rush to go to the 17th floor. Chen Mu glanced at the hundreds of thousands of monster cans stored in his backpack. Prepare to put them all on the trading mall. The value is higher than a bullet and can be exchanged for a can. Several times higher, several more cans, and so on. Ordinary people are limited to exchanging 10 cans in a single post. If the trading item provided later is worth more than a pistol, the exchange amount will be increased to 20. The title reads, Trial Tower High-Level Boss Meet, comes with a powerful buff effect. As soon as this post was released, the gold medal promotion with the words Chen Mu was added. In less than 3 minutes, the number of views has reached 9 million. This is an achievement that many traffic niches are far from reaching. Only look up. Over 100 million, 1 billion. It's just a matter of time. The comments section is even more crowded. More than 100,000 floors have been brushed. Front row occupied building. Boss meat from the Tower of Trials. Is it okay to eat this thing? As someone who has eaten the canned meat he made from zombie meat, I can assure you that it is absolutely fine, full of satiety, and the taste is top-notch. Try another one. This is gone. Or you beasts. This is hundreds of thousands, not a dozen, why so fast? Chen Mu also really didn't expect that the hundreds of thousands of monster cans were sold out in just 5 or 6 minutes. It seems to be due to the previous effect is too good. According to word of mouth, many guilds specially sent people to watch over it. 7/10 flowed into the pockets of the guild, and only 3/10 were traded away by ordinary people. It's normal that fewer people can't do more. Turn off the trading center. As for what was exchanged, Chen Mu was not interested for the time being. When I have time, I will study and ponder. It might be missed. It is not ruled out that there are good things, but some people do not know the goods. With a heavy breath, Chen Mu decided to open the portal to the 17th floor. The portal opened in the air. If you make a mistake in this step, you will fall directly to pieces. Quote. As soon as this foot stepped out of the portal, Chen Mu sensed that something was wrong. Keeping still, poked his head out to take a look, only to find that this is an endless sea, and there is no place to stand at all. Trigger the skill to step into the air. Chen Mu walked on the ground as if walking on the sea. No matter how rough the waves are, it seems that it has nothing to do with him. Where the waves are fierce, they can surge up to a height of more than 10 meters. In the distance, I don't know if it's black smoke or black clouds, but it fell on the sea, and it's completely unclear where the boundary between the sky and the earth is. Above the black clouds, a little bit of hazy light can be seen. It is that little bit of light that keeps the world from being blind. Chen Mu turned around, wanting to see what kind of picture would be behind him. It turned out to be a red rock. The red rocks are like scales, arranged in layers. And on top of that beauty, there is a person sitting cross-legged. Chen Mu wasn't sure if he was human. Looking at the limbs, the torso is quite similar. With 4 hands, the body is a standard bodybuilding figure, which is more aesthetically pleasing, not the kind of explosive muscles, very tight. The color of the skin is iron blue, revealing a thick and strange feeling. On the body and hands, bright red lines are used to depict even weirder runes. I don't understand why. Wearing a dark gold sheep's head mask, the horns are wider than the face, somewhat similar to the horns of an argali, with the pointed ends facing outwards. More like armor. And under the horned helmet is a thick, slightly curly white beard that covers the entire head. In fact, it is more like wool than beard, slender and thick. The face is shoulder length and the neck is belly length. Chen Mu couldn't understand the posture he was maintaining at the moment. Lower your arms, palms together, fingers down. With the upper arms, the left arm holds the hilt of the long sword, and the right arm holds the sword guard. It was as if he was waiting for someone to challenge him, and he was already invincible. Of course, this is just Chen Mu's conjecture. The helmet on the face looks like a trident bent into the tip of a gun, and the eyes that should have been seen through the gap were replaced by a piece of white wool. Chen Mu even suspects that under its helmet, there is only wool and no facial features. Or, is the wool too long, covering all the facial features? But what is certain is that this golden sheep-headed swordsman has vision. The next second when Chen Mu looked at him, it slowly raised its head and looked at Chen Mu squarely. Then, the hand holding the hilt behind the back turned into a pronated grip, with the edge pointing upwards. Turning the wrist, the edge of the blade was aimed at Chen Mu. It can be said that there was no concealment of hostility towards Chen Mu. Seeing that he didn't seem to intend to seize the opportunity, he made a move. Chen Mu had no choice but to attack first, summoning a tentacle on the sea surface. Located behind the sheep-headed swordsman, logically speaking, it should be a blind spot in the field of vision. I want to see if this tentacle can end the battle in an instant and smash the sheep-headed swordsman into pancakes. But he suddenly turned half his body and swung out the silver-bodied long sword with a gold handle in his hand. The tail was like a crown, and a ruby the size of an egg was inlaid in it. With a flash of cold light, the long sword slashed down obliquely. Chen Mu thought he would cut off the octopus tentacles directly, similar to sword chi. Unexpectedly, what the sword cut off was not the octopus tentacles, but the space. A crack was opened in the space, and the octopus tentacles whipped it in, and it was clearly less than half a meter away from the sheep-headed swordsman. In fact, it is out of reach. Immediately afterwards, a sense of crisis was triggered in Chen Emu's mind. Left, facing the crisis, at the same time, teleport and retreat tens of meters away. His eyes could see clearly, the source of the sense of crisis was actually the summoning tentacles skill he had just released. To be precise, it was the sheep-headed swordsman who used the space to fold and open the exit beside him, trying to use his strength to fight. Boom, boom, huge octopus tentacles, whipping on the sea with all its strength. A wide chasm formed as the surface of the sea sank, and the seawater rolled up high towards both sides, like two insurmountable high walls. Boom. Then it fell quickly again, filling the gap. This sound, like thunder, is shocking. Amazing. The water wall fell, and Chen Emu's eyes were able to refocus on the sheep-headed swordsman. So, does that sword have the effect of cutting space? It's definitely a lie. With such an artifact right in front of him, how could it be possible to be as calm as water? With a wave of Chen Emu's hand, the tentacles were submerged in the mosaic and disappeared out of thin air. Snapped. With a snap of his fingers, hundreds of basketball-sized fireballs formed behind his back. Chen Mu wanted to see if the sword in the sheep's head swordsman's hand could transmit any attack to other places. Boom, boom, boom. One after another, the fireballs flew towards the sheep-headed swordsman. The fire reflected on the sea surface, showing strange colors. The sheep-headed swordsman was still sitting on the red rock, and hadn't left since just now. The way to deal with Chen Emu's fireball rain attack is still so simple and unpretentious. He raised his hand and swung his sword to draw a space crack more than 10 meters wide. Boom, boom, boom. No matter how many fireballs, take them all. On Chen Emu's side, danger perception sounded as expected. Boom. Raise your hand, point your palm at the crack in space, release a tornado, engulf all the fireballs, forcefully tear them apart, and extinguish them. Chen Mu took out the fire knife and clenched it with 5 fingers. His eyes were fixed on the sheep-headed swordsman, and in the next second, as if he had made up his mind, his eyes suddenly became firm. Immediately teleport over. Both hands are already in the process, the 10 fingers are clenched tightly, grabbing the handle of the knife, ready to slash. Boom. The flame-attached blade extends 2 or 3 meters like a blade. Except for the handle of the knife, only a strong, shining orange-red flame can be seen. Cut it down with a single knife. It's just that it didn't take long to realize that this knife not only cut through the air, but was also crooked outrageously. It took less than 1/10 of the blink of an eye, and when Chen Mu came back to his senses, he suddenly realized that the distance between him and the sheep-headed swordsman had been reduced to more than 10 centimeters. Suddenly, it stretched to hundreds of meters away. Is that guy's sword so fast? I have to admit, this really caught Chen Mu by surprise. Teleportation, coupled with the instant knife, can also be teleported away by using space cracks. During this critical period, Chen Mu did not find any abnormality at all. Even if slow vision is triggered, he gradually began to think that the sheep-headed swordsman was a difficult opponent. No sword was swung. A space crack appeared out of thin air in front of him. Chen Mu frowned. So it's okay without a sword. No wonder I didn't catch his movement of swinging the sword just now. It turned out that the crack in space didn't necessarily need to be swung to cut out. There is a reason for teleporting himself so far so quickly to avoid the offensive. After a space crack appeared in front of him, the sheep-headed swordsman raised his long sword and stabbed in. The sense of crisis is triggered again. This time, not from the side, but from the top of the head. Looking up, the pupils shrank. Compared with the spatial rift above the head of the sheep-headed swordsman, the spatial rift in front of him cannot be called a thing at all. The difference between the two is more than 100 times. Then, a huge sword blade pierced out from it, and the sharp tip of the sword pointed directly at Chen Mu. There's even a magnification function. Chen Mu had to admit that the sheep-headed swordsman really brought him more and more surprises. This skill, no matter what you say, you have to get it. But the most urgent task right now is to avoid or resolve the fate of being killed by the giant sword. Chen Mu lowered his eyes and looked out to a range of hundreds of meters. Looking at the top of the head again, the edge of the sword has long disappeared. However, the sense of crisis has not disappeared. This time, it appeared at the foot again. The space crack is hidden under a thin layer of seawater. Acting as the exit leading to the exit, the long sword stabs out from it. After that, no matter how Chen Mu flashed and teleported, the space crack was like a piece of dog skin plaster, entangled and followed closely. As soon as Chen Mu's front foot hit the ground, it rushed over with its back foot. It seems that if you don't kill Chen Mu, it will never end. It was only a minute. Spatial cracks are already visible to the naked eye. Chen Mu can't enter it yet. It's really a dog skin plaster that can't be shaken off, don't you feel tired? Chen Mu was speechless. In this regard, looking up at the god of death, there was no response. He focused on killing Chen Mu. If he doesn't die, there will be no end. This is the only rule of the Tower of Trials, one party must die to end the battle. Chen Mu got tired of hiding and didn't want to continue hiding. Think you are the only one who knows the space folding skill? Chen Mu decided to let the sheep-headed swordsman open his eyes. Skill triggered successfully. Please choose the option you want to share. Your skill is very useful, now, it's mine. Find a skill related to the word space, called cutting space. Share directly. Even if it is as strong as a sheep-headed swordsman, it is still impossible to refuse. Compulsory sharing succeeded. Congratulations to the host for obtaining the ability to cut space. Chen Mu stepped into the air to dodge the giant sword that kept stabbing upwards. At the same time, with a wave of his hand, he also tore a space crack under his feet that was large enough to allow the giant sword to pass through. As for where is this exit? Naturally, needless to say, it was arranged on top of the sheep-headed swordsman. The sheep-headed swordsman swung his arm towards Tianping again, opening a space crack on Chen Mu's right side. This cycle continues, nesting dolls. He is not tired, Chen Mu is also tired. Physically, it didn't consume much, mainly mentally. Facing the giant sword stabbing again. Chen Mu retreated 3 or 4 meters. Immediately kick it out, triggering the skill with 10,000 times the power. The blade moved back sharply, and a large penetrating crack appeared. The crack extended into countless small cracks, and then, the whole thing shattered into countless mirror-like existences, scattered into the sea. The sky is very dark, and it is located above the deep sea, so it is impossible to see what kind of picture is under there. After the blade was shattered, the huge kicking force was transmitted back to the sheep-headed swordsman's hand. With a jerk of his arm, he pulled out the broken sword. The moment the blade was pulled out, all the space cracks that had been opened before disappeared. Disappeared, as if it had never been there. The long sword is not a one-time consumable. Even if the blade is broken, it can still be restored to its original state. There is no difference from before being kicked off by Chen Mu. This kick obviously shocked the sheep-headed swordsman a lot. He finally no longer looked calm and relaxed, sitting on the red rock. Standing up, he looked very tall compared to ordinary people. Hold the hilt of the sword with both hands, with the sharp edge facing the sky, and hold it flat in front of you. On the body, those weird red totems, the parts that resemble eyes, actually opened. Ah, are all monsters that wicked? This world is really full of hostility for obsessive-compulsive disorder patients. Chen Mu smiled wryly. After the sheep-headed swordsman made this series of strange movements, the sea surface became more violent than before, with choppy waves, like boiling hot water. It looks hot. Then, it condenses to form a statue, and a body emerges from it. When it is fully formed, take a closer look and see what kind of portrait it is. It is clearly made of water and is about 100 feet tall. This skill, if Chen Mu remembers correctly, is called Water Giant. It can transform water into form and explode with astonishing strength. After all, in such a world full of sea water, it is normal to have skills related to it. In this regard, Chen Mu is not surprised. The reason why he didn't choose to force the skill to be shared was mainly because he felt it was unnecessary. Facing the 600-foot-tall water giants who were walking towards him with long swords in their hands, they strode close. Chen Mu looked calm. Cast skills, Frost Realm. Coverage, all ranges visible to the naked eye. Immediately, snowflakes the size of goose feathers fell from the sky. As long as it touches it, whether it's red rock, sea water, or a swordsman with a sheep's head, it will be frozen immediately. After the entire right arm of the sheep-headed swordsman was frozen, he quickly opened a space crack on the top of his head, and opened an exit at a place hundreds of meters away, so as not to freeze his whole body again. But in front of him, in a very short time, the entire sea area has been completely frozen. Some of the 6 water giants were frozen into sculptures while walking. Some were frozen into sculptures as they approached Shenmue, intending to swing down their blades and chop him in half. Without exception, a little less vicious, a little more artistic. Can't move at all. Shenmue shot out the air spear. Boom, boom, boom. Under the clear and crisp sound of breaking, the 6 water giants, or should they be called ice giants, all shattered and turned into large pieces of ice, scattered all over the place. On the ice surface of the sea water, deep pits were smashed one after another, and they were broken even more finely. It's a pity that killing this kind of thing, there is no way to get rewards, extraction, and summoning. Therefore, Shenmue's eyes fixed on the sheep-headed swordsman hiding under the space crack. It's time to separate life and death. SSS-level ghost movement technique, combined with infinite teleportation, Shenmue quickly approached the sheep-headed swordsman. The sheep-headed swordsman was still triggering the space rift, trying to teleport Shenmue to other places. In short, a safe distance must be maintained. But Shenmue can always be one step ahead of him, open the door of space cracks, and get closer to him. Finally, Shenmue found an opportunity and came behind the god of death with the sheep's head. Before he could react and open another door, he stretched out his hands, picked it up quickly, and pulled out the golden helmet from above the sheep's head. Why not kill him directly? The reason is very simple. The killing method given by the seeing eye is to take his helmet first, remove the restriction seal, and reveal his real body, so that he can completely kill this guy. After losing the horned helmet, a mass of thick wool exploded directly. In the blink of an eye, the body swelled hundreds of times. Transform into a giant sheep. And in Shenmue's hand, the ram's horn helmet that he was holding turned into a golden spear, or a closed trident. This long spear is the key to truly killing the sheep-headed swordsman. Facing the giant sheep running wildly with the monstrous waves, Shenmue was as motionless as a mountain, let alone using his long spear in a hurry. Choose to activate the skill, and the eyes will be petrified. Now it was different from before. The giant sheep showed its eyes. Can fully look at each other. The giant sheep didn't dodge, and didn't know what it would be to meet on next. I just want to hit Shenmue to death with one head, or take a huge wave to blow him up, drag him into the deep sea, and drown him alive. It is very fast and walks on waves. Those who don't know it may think that it also has the ability to jump in the air. In a blink of an eye, this huge body came in front of Shenmue. That plate of horns, in terms of sharpness, is not inferior to the long sword it used before. If it really wants to hit its head on the body, it is estimated that it will fly hundreds of meters, or even thousands of miles. Even if Shenmue is willing to give Juyong this chance, it has to grasp it. Facts have proved that Juyong can't grasp it. When there are still more than 10 meters away. Starting from the nose, then to the whole face, the whole head, quickly petrified to the tail. With such a huge body, the entire petrification process took less than half a second. Look at the stone statue standing on the broken ice, but not sinking to the bottom of the sea. Shenmue didn't get entangled too much, grasped it with the 5 fingers of his right hand, and held it high above his head. Aim at the eyebrows of the giant sheep, move back, and then mobilize the whole body's strength, gather on the arms, and shoot. Boom, boom. The spear easily penetrated the whole body of the sheep. Cracks formed, covered the whole body, and disintegrated. In front of Shenmue, a prompt popped up, successfully killed the sheep-headed swordsman. Congratulations to the host for getting the customs clearance package +1. Killing point +2000. Extraction successful. Congratulations to the host for obtaining the ability to cut space. Strength attribute +300, dodge attribute +150, spell power attribute +100. Congratulations to the host for obtaining the skill cutting space, automatically upgraded to SSS level cutting space. Sometimes, upgrading the SSS level skills does not make much significant change in itself, but removes the consumption and various restrictions. Or speed up the release speed, simplify the release process, etc. Calling. Successful summoning. Congratulations to the host for obtaining the sheephead swordsman. After solving all these, Chen Yu opened the portal to the 18th floor without any further pause. In the outside world, even though it was late at night, there were still many people staying in the World Chat channel, concerned about Chen Mu's every move. See the news that Chen Mu cleared the 17th floor. The stone hanging in many people's hearts was able to fall safely. Phew, that's great. I haven't heard from you for such a long time. I thought he was cool off. Don't worry, we will all be cold. He may not be cold. To be able to survive such a long time in his hands, how terrifying is the monster on the 17th floor? I don't know, but I know very well, I don't think there will be any chance in my life to see such a monster at the top level. Brother, your words are too true, so true that I want to cry. What do you care so much about him? Brother didn't join the guild, did he? The canned food he made now is hard currency among the major guilds. Our boss even said that as long as he can grab a canned food for the guild, he will directly reward 100 killing points. This world is really scary. Canned food made of zombie monster meat is so sought after by so many people. You only need to taste it once, and you will know how strong and powerful those cans are, and they are definitely top-notch resources. Yes, our vice president said that those cans are likely to become the main currency in the future, so he cannot die. If he dies, it is very likely to change the direction of the world. Everything is steadily developing in the direction Chen Mu expected, beyond imagination. A saying called, "The world needs Chen Mu," gradually spread in the World Chat channels. There are hundreds of millions of people staying awake, staring at the World Trading Center, trying to see if they can grab a can. A can only needs one bullet, but after you get a can, you can switch to a gun with hundreds of bullets. Make sure you don't lose. The more powerful the zombie monster can, the more sought after it is. For example, the gatekeeper boss in the Tower of Trials. Someone has already offered a sky-high price of 10,000 killing points. But it is still priceless and very sought after. There is also a large amount of rewards offered by the guild, just to get more canned food reserves and increase the possibility of conquering the Tower of Trials. The setting of being able to meet God and make any wish is really hard not to be tempted. It's just that the page of this World Trading Center is almost torn, and it hasn't been refreshed yet. Inevitably disappointed. The key disappointment has to continue to brush. If one step is late, the loss is immeasurable, especially knowing that Chen Mu is still in the Tower of Trials at the moment. The canned boss meat of the Tower of Trials will definitely be on the shelves. Who would not want a priceless treasure that can be exchanged for a bullet? On Chen Mu's side, after the petrification effect was removed, the giant sheep was broken into pieces, floating on the sea surface, and the flesh and blood mixed with crushed ice were selected with one click and made into cans. Just this one guarding boss produced more than 30,000 cans. There is no rush to put it on the trading market. I want to wait until the next 3-story trial tower has been cleared, and there will be more of them before I think about it. After finishing everything, the person strode into the portal and came to the Tower of Trials on the 18th floor. A forest. Looking up, the trees are tall, the leaves are dense, the sunlight hardly shines in, and the visibility is low, which makes the atmosphere around here a little more depressing. Chen Mu felt more and more that he was on a trip. Don't wait for him to find the gatekeeper boss on this floor. A sense of crisis came from behind. Chen Mu moved half-step sideways, turned sideways, and saw clearly that a tapered black spear flew out from his eyes. Boom, boom. The next moment, pierced directly, tearing up a big tree as thick as a washbasin. The remaining tree body was not enough to support it, it broke and fell down. There was no need to dodge, and he didn't fall to Chen Mu's side. Activate the magic pupil, quickly follow the direction of the spear, and look at it. Chen Mu quickly caught it, a little guy. Compared with those monsters encountered before, he really can't be called huge. It looks like 1.35 meters at most. The face is weird, a bit like a horse, but with a human head. Especially the nose part, which is the closest to a horse, and the thick upper lip. The entire mouth was split open, as if it could not be closed, almost occupying 3/5 of the entire face. The mouthful of small fangs like melon seeds is daunting. It seems that it just ate a living thing not long ago, a piece of blood red, together with the nose part. The face is protruding, and the eyes are on the side of the face. Except for the blood red, no other details can be seen. On the contrary, the red and white, protruding black and white eyeballs on the eyebrows are more like eyes. There are 3 eyes in total. The head is bald, and the skin color is fair and silvery black. Wearing a thick leather jacket, the thick arms and thighs are almost completely exposed, not much covered. A pair of thighs are not much different from ordinary people except for the color, and the muscle lines are more obvious. It's just that this foot, down to the ankle, is mechanical, as sharp as an eagle's claw, and it is because of this that he can squat firmly on the branch. The right arm wears a mechanical claw, with slender and sharp fingers. The muscles in that arm were so developed that they were thicker than the thighs, and the veins were bulging. In contrast, the other arm looked rather thin, as if it had shrunk. And on its back, there is a cylindrical device on its back. It is full of familiar black pointed guns, evenly arranged on both sides, with 12 on each side, like a hedgehog with thorns. There are also thinner, sharper spear tips exposed inside the barrel. The whole image gives people the feeling that it is very disobedient and unkind. Think about it too, how could people who appear in such a place be kind? Seeing that the shot missed, he raised Keelan's right arm again, and pulled out a black pointed gun from the barrel on his back. Hold the tail as thin as a steel bar. It looks a bit like a miniature version of the knight's spear. There is even a bloodletting groove engraved on it, just to cause more damage after hitting it. Raised high, the third eye on the forehead was active, looking straight at Chen Mu. Then prepared to throw a black pointed gun. Unexpectedly, in the next second, his body suddenly petrified and fell from the tree. Boom! When it fell to the ground, it happened to be another stone surface, which was smashed into several large pieces and countless small pieces. This is the end. Obviously not, the crisis sense came again. Naturally, Chen Mu also knew that as the guarding boss on the 18th floor, no matter what, it was impossible for him to be so weak. It's just that the next scene made him a little unexpected. The sense of crisis is not only one side, but not all directions are enough to describe it. How should this feeling be explained? It was as if at this very moment, Chen Mu was targeted by a regiment of soldiers with a gun and locked on. At a glance, there are dense red exclamation marks, warnings of crisis. Boom, boom, boom. The sound of breaking wind came one after another. All mixed together, like a strong wind. Chen Mu looked around with his divine pupils, and at the same time used the SSS level skill that he had just acquired, which was still very fresh, to cut the space. Like a glass cover, covering him in it. At the same time, open the exit next to each throwing killer who hides and crouches around, next to the head. When one shot into the space crack, the next second, it stabbed out at the same time. Stab. Penetrate throwing killer's brains. The nails were shot on the trunk, shaking from side to side, so dead that I couldn't die anymore. This Tower of Trials is similar to the Spider Mother before. But there are also differences. The difference is that each of these guys has terrifying combat power. The same thing is, they don't need spider mothers, there are a lot of them. Good at throwing black pointed spears secretly for assassination. However, these methods will eventually take their own lives. Chen Mu only needs to stand where he is, without doing anything. After pulling out all the spears carried on the barrel, they are used up. Simply remove the drum and carry it on your shoulders. When facing Chen Mu head-on, he finally saw clearly that it should be a launcher, and inside it, like a honeycomb, was filled with extremely thin arrow guns. Hundreds of shots can be fired at one time. This is the consequence. Chen Mu was safe and sound. On the other hand, with this move, he could barely rely on his reflexes to escape death's very few throwing killers. Facing such a dense crowd and at such a close range, he was instantly smashed into a sieve. In this situation, the gods came, but it was still hopeless. About 3 or 4 minutes later, thousands of throwing killers all died by their own hands. Kill the throwing killer successfully. Congratulations to the host for getting the customs clearance package +1. Killing point +2000. Another level that makes Chen Mu feel that the order of the floors is reversed. Extracting. Extraction successful. Congratulations to the host for gaining 10,000 times the throwing power. Strength attribute +300, speed attribute +200. Congratulations to the host for obtaining the throwing power of 10,000 times the skill, and automatically upgrade to SSS level 10,000 times the throwing power. Although the throwing killer is not a separate entity, you only need to choose one at random to extract it. Another 10,000-fold power. Compared with 10,000-fold power, this skill has a throwing restriction. It can only be triggered by throwing. Not bad. 10,000 times superimposed 10,000 times, combined with the power attribute, Chenmu feels that any stone picked up from the side of the road can play a cannonball effect. Calling. Successful summoning. Congratulations to the host for getting the throwing killer. Successful summoning. Congratulations to the host for getting the throwing killer. Successful summoning. Congratulations to the host for getting the throwing killer. ... After that, it took a little time to summon more than 3,600 throwing killers as undead. Chenmu even felt that there is no need for other undead army, as long as these more than 3,600 throwing killers can still kill the existing human beings to death. It can be called the elite of the elite, not only in quality but also in quantity. World Chat Channel. So strong, I cleared the 18th floor so soon. Good guy, this is the rhythm of brushing 10 floors in one breath again. If I remember correctly, he can only clear 10 floors a day. If there is no such limit, he may be able to clear the level directly. I mean, is there a possibility that this restriction is specially made for him? Be confident, remove the word possibility, it is definitely made for him. Besides him, who else has such a heaven-defying ability? I just want to know how many SSS level skills he has, and he can defeat 1,000 with one enemy. 1 against 1,000. You think too highly of yourself, Inez. We and him are not the same kind of people at all. He should be called a new human being, weirdo. ... At the same time, the 19th floor of the Tower of Trials. Chenmu stood on the bare black stone wall with no grass growing on it. Next it is slowly flowing, hot magma. When you turn your head, you can see, not far away, a towering, half-erupting volcano. The black volcano, with the crimson magma, and the black smoke that filled the sky, shrouding the heavens, filled the sense of oppression. Volcano. The monster boss living in the volcano. Or is the volcano itself a monster? Chenmu muttered, analyzing the situation in front of him. At present, he has reached the 19th floor for about half a minute. There is absolutely no enthusiasm of throwing killers on the previous level. Except for the volcano, I didn't even see the shadow of anything else. It's hard not to suspect that the gatekeeper boss is related to the volcano. Just as he was screening his skills, he planned to scare the snake and stimulate the volcano. Rumble. Unexpectedly, the volcano was one step ahead, erupted. Magma. What Chenmu could see was the magma flowing down the mountain wall at a significantly faster speed. As for the crater, it is full of gray smoke, and the mushroom cloud is not so exaggerated. Towering directly into the sky, connecting the sky and the earth. Let this visibility drop a lot again. The size of the smoke even far exceeds the volcano itself. Gradually, Chenmu realized something was wrong. Something is wrong. This is by no means as simple as a simple volcanic eruption. The black smoke became more compact after condensing. The shape looked more and more like a monster with arms swinging and mouth wide open. The mouth is pointed and long, and the rich magma color can be seen in it. This kind of magma color spreads all over the body, like electric streaks. On the arm, a flame visible to the naked eye burned. After the black smoke dissipated a little bit, it suddenly realized that its body was composed of a substance similar to magma. Shiny black, but the magma is not completely solidified and is in a semi-solidified state. Boil. The roar is amazing. It can spread the level of several kilometers. Earth-shattering. However, compared to the roar itself, what Chenmu cared more about was the large magma that spewed out from its mouth when it roared. It's not rain level anymore, but meteorite level. In a fairly dense state, they are heading towards Chenmu, smashing their heads and covering their faces. At this scale, destructive power is no joke. Chenmu drew out the fire knife. Hold it with your right hand, move it to the left, the back of the blade is close to your neck, and then swing your arm sideways, over 180 degrees. Cut out a kilometer-long space crack. I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.